To the run, Allen, the former Chicago Bear, runs the ball and runs it well. Gets plus yards, and we look now at the offensive blocking. Sacks have been a problem. David Carr has been sacked on the average of 6 times a game. Pitts, Graham, McKinney, Wary, and Herndon. 2 rookies in the starting offensive line. Allen and Jared Baxter the backs. Gaffney, a rookie, and Bradford, a former Packer, the wideouts. Rod Rutledge, who played for the Super Bowl champion Patriots last season, starts at tight end. Spread formation. Carr looking to throw from an open backfield on 2nd down and 9. Here comes the blitz. And he tries to cross him up, going to a draw, but the Eagles aren't buying it. You look now at the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles. All Grassmanis, who made that tackle, starting for the injured Corey Simon, Whiting, Walker, and Douglas across the front with him. The linebackers, Sean Barber, the former Steelers, Levon Kirkland, and Carlos Emmons also back the line. Maybe the best secondary in football. Vincent, Hawkins, Bishop, and Taylor. Now on 3rd down and 12, young David Carr is up against it. Ball is tipped. Bradford catches the ball, but Steve maybe wishes he didn't.
Well, this is one of the problems that the Texans have had, Don. They have been forever in 3rd and 9+, and they're going to continue to struggle unless they do better on 1st and 2nd down. You watch here, right there, you see the defensive tackle, Darwin Walker, get through and bang into Carr's arm. And I'll tell you what, Corey Bradford's hoping that ball comes down a little faster next time, because he was hung out to dry by that tipped pass.
He really got hammered. Brian Mitchell's back, and there is the punter, Chad Stanley, to boot the ball for the Texans. Standing at his 10. It's a low spiral. This will come back at the Texans. Bobbled by Mitchell, one of the great returners in the history of the league, and there's good special teams play by the Houston Texans, and the Eagles will start after a 3-yard return at about their 33-yard line. And there is Donovan McNabb in his 4th year out of Syracuse, and 2 Pro Bowls in his first 3 years in the league. And as you mentioned, Steve, at the outset, the signee of a new $115 million contract.
Well, at this point of the season for the Eagles, if you're going to pick somebody to extend their contract, he's the guy. He was only halfway through a 7-year contract to begin with. That's how important he is. They already had him for 4 more years, but they signed him to a deal that could take him through a whole decade.
Want to keep him here as long as they can, and he's also the Eagles' leading rusher, 8.6 a carry. Now he's going deep. Looking at Pinkston, and the ball is tipped away beautifully. An excellent defensive play, as coming up to make the play was Marcus Coleman. Here is the offensive line. 2 terrific tackles in Thomas and Runyon. A very good offensive line overall. Fraley, an underrated, very solid center. Staley and Martin the backs. Pinkston and Thrash the wideouts. Chad Lewis twice has been a Pro Bowler at tight end.
You see one of the things that the Eagles do, they put everybody on their offensive side into the game. You see here they have nobody in the backfield, 4 wide receivers. They use everybody on their offense.
Again a throw, and this time it's errant. They went right after Coleman on that first play, Steve. He was burned last week, was caught in the wrong coverage and gave up a long touchdown. Now we look at the defensive line of the Texans. Walker and Kane, both former Jaguars. Deloche down there with him. Long, Foreman, Sharper, and Mitchell. Jamie Sharper had 13 tackles last week against the Colts and forced 2 fumbles.
And you notice as those lineups pop up, there's only 3 defensive linemen on the field for the Texans. They're one of the few teams who run the 3-4 alignment, and it does cause problems for offenses around the league.
And McNabb on a long yardage play can cause problems because he's such a good runner. Here's an all-out rush. McNabb gets it away. And now there's a penalty marker down where McNabb was knocked down. It's in the Eagle backfield. Holding is signaled against the Eagles, so the Texans are coming out in ill humor. This defense, they don't like all this talk about getting blasted around, and the best team's going to blow them out of here.
Holding.
They're showing up with a game face.
Offense. It's declined. 4th down.
Well, there's no question the Texans' strength is their defense. And it starts with that guy, Dom Capers, their head coach. He's a defensive coordinator. He's a big proponent of the 3-4 defense. It's very unpredictable up front, and offensive lines are very confused by the number of blitz packages they can throw at you.
Now Landeta, the veteran punter, in his 18th year, booms it downfield. Avion Black, living dangerously, makes the catch at the 30-yard line. Of course, in the NFL, unlike college, no halo for the kick returner. They can be right on you as long as they don't touch you. 37-yard punt, no return. To go at the vet. Second possession for the Texans. You see the Texans offense, no TDs in the last 8 quarters.
That's fitting because the Eagle defense hasn't given up a touchdown in the last 8 quarters.
Texans got their 2 touchdowns this season in the opening win over the Dallas Cowboys. Here is a throw and a great catch by Bradford. One hands the ball behind him. This former Packer, who David Carr told us yesterday is the guy he's looking to more and more. He has such confidence in Corey Bradford.
Well, that's
24-yard gain.
That's one of the things the Texans have been missing is a big play, and this is a great play. Watch as Carr catches Bradford coming right at the bottom of your screen. Watch him. One hands it, never even puts his right hand on the football. Nice catch. That's what this Texans offense has missed. They just need a guy to make a play, make a spark, give them some consistency, make first downs. It's just been a dead time here for the Texans.
First down and 10 after the 24-yard gain. Throw. James Allen loses the ball. Incomplete pass. Perfect screen set up. Allen just couldn't handle it. Normally a good receiver, the former Chicago Bear.
And those are the kind of plays the Texans have to make to win in this league, and they're learning that. I mean, this is a young offense. Defensively, they have some veterans, but watch here. Well set up screen, and you just got to pull that in. You're playing one of the good teams in the NFL. You need to make plays like that.
Offensive coordinator, there's Chris Palmer, who of course a couple of years was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, the expansion Cleveland Browns, a quarterback expert working with David Carr. Carr and the Texans now work second down and 10. Allen stutter stepping straight ahead, gets ahead for a gain of about 4 or 5 yards. Tackled on the play by Hugh Douglas. They're going to try to shorten the game if they can, the Texans, Steve, by running the ball and running the clock, and certainly trying to keep the rush off David Carr.
Interesting formation. They had double wideouts on both sides, almost to the sidelines. They spread the defense as wide as they could possibly do it, and then handed the ball up the middle.
Now 4 wide receivers for the Texans. Carr with that rifle arm comes in low. And there's penalty markers down.
Yeah, Troy Vincent got there early, Don.
It's Corey Bradford, the former Green Bay Packer. He was the Packers' 3rd receiver the last 3 seasons, averaged 17 catches a year. Now getting the starting shot with the Texans.
The only chance that the Eagles have is if the referee or officials say that ball was not catchable, no matter when Troy Vincent hit Bradford. If the ball wasn't catchable, it doesn't matter.
23.
Johnny Greer, our referee, makes a penalty call against the Eagles.
So there's no question Vincent got there early, but a lot of times they won't call that if it's a bang. There you see there. Now that's a good call. That's just a little bit too early. If it's a bang play, sometimes the officials will keep their flag in their pocket. That was just too early.
Vincent, a terrific cover, though. He's been to the Pro Bowl 3 times, this 11-year veteran from Wisconsin. But with the penalty, the Texans drive on in the scoreless first quarter. Allen trying to cut back on the Eagle defense. Eagles have a very sound defense to go with an outstanding offense. Quarterbacks have been taking a lot of heat for their team's losses this year. This week, Phil Simms sets the record straight and says when a team loses, it's not always because of the quarterback. Read what else Phil had to say at NFL.com or on America Online. Enter keyword NFL.com.
It may not be their fault, Don, but it's part of their job description to take the blame.
Here is the handoff, and it is Allen again. So the Texans come out with a power game. And James Allen out of Oklahoma, a guy that can really hit the gap. Busts ahead for a gain of 7. Close to, but not quite to the first down mark.
This is the type of offense the Texans need. A running game to get them into 3rd and manageable. Not 3rd and 9, but 3rd and 1 is a down you feel like you can win with. If you want to take a look at the Eagle defense, they don't look like the dominating defense they have been in the last 2 weeks.
Dom Capers was extolling his team for playing hard. He said our defense has played well enough to keep us in every game. Right now it's the offense with the help of some penalties that's moving the ball, and I don't think Andy Reid likes it.
Yes, is sponsored by the Mitsubishi Eclipse. It's impossible to sneak around it. Are you in? Energizer. Do you have the bunny inside? And by Hewlett-Packard. HP Digital Imaging. When it's easy, why not?
Don Criqui with Steve Tasker back at the vet. The Texans in a scoreless first quarter have 3rd and 1. They are converting only 14% of their third downs this season. Carr takes a look. What an arm. Fires and he gets his man. Touchdown. The Houston Texans come out gunning, and David Carr just put a fastball right on the hands of Corey Bradford from 24 yards out.
Well, for a young offense, the Texans came out and slapped the Eagles right in the face and taught them a lesson. The Eagles showed up very flat here in the first quarter, and the Texans made them pay. Watch David Carr as he rolls out to his right. This is a dynamite throw right on the money, right at the goal line, and the Texans look like the team that has playoff aspirations on that drive.
And you can see there, Steve, why he was drafted where he was. David Carr, what an arm. Tight spiral, a laser shot, and Bradford hung on, and now the extra point by Chris Brown is hit up and good. And an early surprise at the vet as the expansion Texans take a 7-0 lead. Houston kicks off when we come back. An early surprise at the vet in Philadelphia. David Carr just hit number 85. Corey Bradford with a 24-yard touchdown pass. It's 23 officially. And it is a 7-0 game. Texans over the favored Eagles. And now the kickoff by Chris Brown. Douglas and Mitchell are back. Mitchell takes the ball straight ahead, and he's going to be knocked down at about the 20-yard line. Let's watch the touchdown again here, Steve. The first score in 33 possessions.
And that's his 3rd touchdown pass of the year. They rolled him out to his right to give him a little extra time and try and make him harder to find for the pass rush. And that was just an excellent throw. Chris Palmer on the 3rd and 1. He knows he's got a quarterback that can make every throw. If they can get a guy open, he'll be there.
The first touchdown in 33 possessions, so this could ignite this young Texan offense, which much of the time has 6 rookies on the field.
Well, this defense for the Texans, now the strength of their team, has a chance to keep it close and make something happen. This 3-4 defense for the Texans is going to give the Eagles some problems up front.
The defense of the Texans that rates number 8 in the NFL. McNabb makes a throw, and he's picked off. Eric Brown, the strong safety, gets a room service interception as McNabb tries to beat him deep downfield. But Eric Brown is right in position, a guy who started for the Denver Broncos in their Super Bowl victory in Super Bowl 33.
Well, for a team that seemed like they needed to learn how to be a franchise, these Texans came in and they're teaching the Eagles a lesson about showing up flat in the NFL. You don't do it. No matter who you're playing, the Texans were all over this route from the word go. McNabb had plenty of time to see this. This was just a bad decision.
Now let's see what the Texans go to as they have the surprise early lead and great field position for this drive. Carr in trouble. And for the 20th time this season, Carr is sacked. Brandon Whiting 98 and Hugh Douglas 53. Pinch on him, but Hugh Douglas is down.
Hugh Douglas, the key component of that front, and that's one of the problems that the Texans have had. David Carr dropped back, both ends crashed in on him. He was lucky to try and step up in between. Watch as Whiting and Douglas just converge at the same time on Carr. And you see there he slips a little bit trying to get away. And hard to see there why Hugh Douglas stayed down on the ground.
A loss of 7 yards on the play.
The 20th sack Carr has taken this year. Let's see if we can see Hugh Douglas.
He's in the middle of the screen. Looked like he might have twisted a leg as he came in on the play. We'll be back in a moment.
On CBS is sponsored by T-Mobile. Get more minutes, more features, more service. And by Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Cold down easy.
While we were away, the injured defensive end Hugh Douglas jogged off the field. There he is. They looked at his left knee, but looks like Hugh, a two-time Pro Bowler, is going to be ready to get back in there right now Indy Kalu comes in to replace him. Second down and long. Quick out. Bradford bumbles the ball. Incomplete pass. It was a forward pass. This Eagle team is expert at taking away the ball. They lead the league in takeaways with 11.
Now this is Hugh Douglas in the injury. Watch as he comes around. You'll watch his right leg on this step right here. Right there. His ankle gets bent to the inside, but and he got a knee in the side of his knee. So that's what caused him to be taken off the field. It looks like he's ready to come back in.
Now on third down and 18. David Carr is going to see a heavy pass rush as he sets up in the shotgun with 4 wide receivers. Quick throw. Ball is tipped around and incomplete. Kind of a jump ball, volleyball type of play. It's a good play. Bobby Taylor looked like Steve got a tip of the ball.
There's a good play by a couple of guys. Bobby Taylor tipped it, and then he got some help from Corey Bradford to knock that to the ground and make sure it didn't get intercepted. Watch here as he's going to throw this immediately. Gets banged by the defensive back, and then you see there, that's James Allen knocking that down to make sure that that didn't get intercepted. That was a big play right there for the Texans.
Ryan Mitchell back to return the punt. Snap. Chad Stanley hits the ball high. Mitchell living dangerously, fields it and returns it beautifully out across the 20-yard line. Looked like he would have to fair catch, but he caught it and ran it back 11 yards. Eagles have it when we come back to Veterans Stadium. The Philadelphia Eagles are back and ready to go. First down and 10 at their 21-yard line. You see McNabb 0 for 4 with an interception. McNabb with a quick hit gets it out to Todd Pinkston, who's run out of bounds after a short gain. The second down and about 6. Congratulations to The Late Show, Emmy winner for Outstanding Variety Series for the 5th year in a row. This week, days all new with Edward Norton, Anthony LaPaglia, David Arquette, and David Schwimmer. Monday, don't miss Everybody Loves Raymond star Patricia Heaton. It's all this week on The Late Show right here on CBS. They're piling up those Emmys.
Dave's got it going on.
Second down and 7. The Eagles go to the run. They have a running back by committee. That was Dorsey Levens, who is their best per carry runner this year, averaging 7.3 yards a rush. It's only his 11th carry, though.
Here in the beginning, we've noticed a couple of times where the Eagles do look a little bit uninspired in their play. And I think one of the things you have to do to get out of that, Don, is go back to what you do best. They run the football. They put the ball in the hands of Donovan McNabb. And you saw in that first down play, just get it out of his hand, let him complete a pass, let him catch their wind and get going. Andy Reid can't be happy about this start.
Well, we got a lot of football to be played. And here is a pitch back now. James Thrash turns the corner. And he breaks tackles. A first down and a lot more as Thrash works his way down the far side of the field all the way out to the 47-yard line before Eric Brown gets him out of bounds, but there's a 19-yard gain on the play.
Last week against the Cowboys, the Eagles ran out a whole bunch of trick plays. And we were asking Andy Reid, are you going to run any of those this week? He says, well, every time I call him, I start to stutter. Well, when your team's off to a sluggish start, call one. It's a perfect time to call a play of that nature. Get your team going. A pitch from Donovan McNabb, who labels the backside pursuit, and then Thrash making something a little bit more out of a good play. That's a great play call at that point.
Thrash had a big week last week against the Cowboys. 6 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown. McNabb buys time with his feet, buys some more time, and then throws and hits Deuce Staley for a first down. That's not booing, they're deucing. 15-yard gain.
That's why Donovan McNabb is an MVP candidate every year. This is a guy that can really run. Watch as he drops back. You'll see the athletic ability. He can run. He can do all these things. But the thing that makes him different, he doesn't want to run. He's finding guys open, making plays. It's much more pressing on a defense to have a quarterback who wants to throw first, but you can't catch. That's impossible to defend.
Those feet are so quick. He keeps making tacklers miss. Now McNabb with a deep drop, arches the ball. But he's got a little bit too much on it as he goes to tight end Chad Lewis. Incomplete. Now while we have a moment, it's off to New York into Jim Nance. Jim?
All right, Don, Chiefs. Let's go back to Don and Steve.
I'll tell you, Don, I don't care where you're playing or how you're playing, Kansas City's a tough joint to go into.
Well, it's loud. The Dolphins in September particularly, they are one of the NFL's best year after year. Long way to go in that one. McNabb takes a look, throws a fastball, beautifully taken in at about the 26-yard line. And that was Todd Pinkston, the big, rangy wide receiver. 12-yard gain.
Well, Pinkston comes out, gets separation. I'll tell you what, when at the end of this route, when he jumps up, he catches Donovan McNabb's fastball right here. That's a high heat, right? Donovan put everything he could into that one. That's a tough catch. Jumping up with two hands, catching that ball. Great play.
And Pinkston is the fastest Eagle receiver. He's been somewhat inconsistent, though. He's been troubled by drop. That was a terrific catch of a hard-thrown ball. So the high-scoring Eagles driving now. Again, the quick hitch goes wide. This again is Pinkston. Can't break the tackle. Marcus Coleman, who's been involved on touchdown pass plays given up by the Texan defense the last two games. They've looked at him a lot today. But Marcus comes up with a good defensive play there.
Yeah, Coleman is a big cornerback, 6'2", 210 pounds. He's very physical, and he's been beaten once or twice. But I'll tell you what, the cornerback and the defensive backfield in general for the Texans is solid as a rock. These guys can play, and Donovan McNabb's not going to have the field day that some people might think against this defense.
This Eagle offense is a democracy. Everybody gets the ball. 8 guys, different guys have scored touchdowns. 11 different players have caught passes. That time it goes to the rookie from Villanova, Brian Westbrook, who's a terrific young player. Gain of 4 on the play. Last week, Brian showed what he could do. He threw a touchdown pass also. Todd Pinkston.
That was one of those trick plays that we saw a moment ago that Andy Reid called. And I'll tell you that getting this drive started with that pitch reverse was a brilliant move, because his team was a little bit flat. And as they get down into this end of the football field, everything becomes important. It's important to keep this drive alive.
The expansion Texans still leading the game. The Eagles threatening for the first time. McNabb makes a throw. This is Pinkston working the sideline and out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. First down, Eagles, a 17-yard gain.
Well, Donovan McNabb is just like a running back. You see how well he moves, and the thing about it is once he moves off his back foot, off balance, he can still hit Pinkston in stride, be very accurate, and that's as important as athletic abilities. It's the ability to be accurate with your throws when you're on the run, Don. There's a lot of quarterbacks that can't do that.
McNabb, that stutter stepping, he gets those defenders. They're not sure whether to make a move on him or wait, and he burns them. First down and goal, Eagles. McNabb with a pump fake. Throw. High. Looking at his tight end, Chad Lewis. Sharper was covering, and Andy Reid now talking to the people upstairs and get ready to send in the play call.
That was it. Donovan McNabb has got a big arm. You see there, first 2 possessions were 0. This one's the one they got it going finally. McNabb threw that ball so hard, Lewis couldn't even start to jump before the ball was hitting the back of the end zone. This guy's got a rocket. He's got everything you need and want in a quarterback, Don, including all the intangibles.
Well, they say his confidence, Steve, imbues throughout the whole team. Is absolutely contagious. They believe because he does, and now a throw, an incomplete pass. Looking at Antonio Freeman, the former Packer, who's had a very good start as a Philadelphia Eagle since he's been brought in here. Played for Reid when he was offensive coach at Green Bay.
Well, we've got a player down on the field.
One of the Texans is down.
That's Matt Stevens over there. Interesting here, he was trying to make it off the field, and the coaching staff said, no, stop right there and go down. Now, he was going to be able to make it, and they wanted this break in the action so they could talk it over with their defense down deep without taking a timeout.
Very good call, Steve.
Well,
you did that once or twice.
Yeah, well, a little chicanery, never hurt anybody.
Whatever's fair, huh?
Yeah, he was going to make it off the field, but Dom Capers and the coaching staff said stop and fall, you know, so he did, and now they get a chance to talk it over down deep in their own end.
You don't even think it's a life-threatening injury then?
Well, I don't think they'll have to amputate anything.
This Stevens makes a lot of stops. He's a former Buffalo Bill. He's now at his 5th team in the last 6 years. Had a good stop last year. He was on the Super Bowl winning New England Patriots.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. He's a good tackler. And, you know, he's one of those guys now at this point in his career, his 7th year. He's been around the block a time or two. He knows what's going on out there. His lights are on, and he's playing with a bunch of good guys in that defensive backfield. He's been in some big games.
Extended drive now. Well-played drive for the Eagles.
McNabb's been 6 for 9 on this drive.
Eagles organization under owner Jeff Lurie, Joe Banner, made a couple of great decisions in the year 1999. They hired Andy Reid and they drafted Donovan McNabb, and they say the rest is history. It's been a success story ever since. Hit ball incomplete. Well done. Jason Simmons, a nickelback, number 30, got his hands on the ball, and now the Eagles will send out one of the best kickers in football, David Akers.
Great play defensively by the Texans. They brought heat, and that's one thing about this. You have to tip your hat to this Texans defense. They never let up. I don't care if they're down 20 or if they're down 10 or up by 10. They bring the heat, and that puts a lot of pressure over the course of 4 quarters on an offense to handle it.
You see David Akers' numbers this year, but look at him over the recent times. He has hit 63 of his last 71 field goal attempts, and he is a long-range kicker. Andy Reid does not see his team getting into the end zone, but he does see points on the field goal. It's a 7-3 game, and Texans. Here comes Black. He is fast. Shoots into the gap, and Black, timing his run to work with his blockers, gets the ball to the 32-yard line. Taken down by Quentin Caver. The all-new Amazing Race begins Wednesday on CBS. 12 new teams, once around the planet on the adventure of a lifetime. Don't miss the season premiere of an all-new Amazing Race Wednesday at 9, 8 Central, here on CBS. David Carr, the #1 pick in the last draft. See his numbers for the day. 3 of 6 for 50 yards. The big throw, the 24-yard touchdown to Bradford to open the scoring. Don Capers telling us yesterday nobody strips the ball like the Eagles do. They work on it. They do it better than anyone else. They're the best we've seen, and a classic example, their 12th takeaway of the season.
David Carr just learned a little lesson about playing quarterback. When you get there, when you break contain and you get up there and the violence is coming, get to the ground. You'll see right here, right there, he needs to go down because Darwin Walker is just a big guy, and that's what he does for a living. He's going to come after the football. Watch. Grabs him with his left arm and slaps down with his right. That's just great technique by Walker.
There is Brian Dawkins, and now Carr on the phone. Son, protect the ball, they're telling him. McNabb takes a look, makes a throw, makes a connection down to the 26-yard line to fullback Cecil Martin. They don't look at him often, but he makes it work. A 17-yard gain. Another thing this McNabb is expert at, Steve, he's a great faker.
Yeah, it's great play fake, and plus they ran that fake reverse, and at this point you have to respect the reverses that the Eagles run. They've run a bunch of them in the last 2 weeks, and it's going to work as a fake because the Texans know that you run them all the time.
Don Capers saying that the Eagles offense tests your defensive discipline. He said they throw so many looks at you, so many fakes. This time they go straight ahead to Deuce Staley, their runner out of South Carolina, who leads the team with 114 yards, leads the running backs. Actually, the overall rushing leader is the quarterback, McNabb.
You see there David Carr, who turned that ball over, and points off turnovers, the most important statistic in the National Football League. Now, the Texans got an interception from McNabb earlier and did nothing with it. And you see there, that's the turnovers this season. When they're even, it's 50-50. When you lose it, you lose the game.
McNabb now throwing as a tackler's on him, and he does the right thing as he had nowhere to go, so he gets out of the tackle box and throws the ball away. Jay Foreman was coming hard, 56, the son of a all-pro player for the Vikings, Chuck Foreman, who was a running back.
This there, he just kind of stays with him. This is McNabb's strength. He knows, he feels it, and that's the joy of having a big arm as a quarterback. You can flick it out of bounds 30 yards down the field when you got a guy hanging on you. It's a good play by McNabb again.
Talked to Donovan McNabb at practice, asking about, everything's on his shoulders. Do you like it? He said, I love it. He said, I like it when people say you can't do something. He feels he can carry his team. Now he's got a problem, and McNabb will be sacked at the 35-yard line, and could be a personal foul on the Texans.
Yeah. Jay Foreman jumped on him as he was going down, and that's a little too much.
Johnny Greer, the referee, and the #1 job of a referee in the NFL, the #1 job is to protect the quarterback. And he saw a late hit and flagged it.
I don't know if I would have called this.
Personal foul. Face mask. Number 56. Defense. First down.
But I got to think to myself, Don, I guess just between you and me, if that's David Carr getting that hit, he doesn't get this call. Watch here as he's going down. He's not down.
Yeah, he just.
There's the last hit, and that was that. Jay Foreman jumping on the back right there. That's what they call.
Now the ball on the penalty now is advanced to the 20-yard line. So McNabb and the Eagles working 1st and 10. And off. And Levens bounces outside and then cuts back and gets inside the 15-yard line. A hard run by Dorsey Levens, the former Green Bay Packer, a gain of 7 yards on the play.
And Gary Walker's down on the field. And the Texans can ill afford to lose Gary Walker, as he is one of the bright spots in the stalwarts of that defense.
Walker, former Jacksonville Jaguar, they couldn't keep a lot of their players. They're good players like Walker and the nose guard Seth Payne because of salary cap problems. So they had to expose them to the expansion draft.
At this point, you've got to think that looking at the Texans expansion draft and some of the things they did defensively, they pulled in some pretty good players off that draft, but they didn't do it frivolously. He's 29 years old, as you can see there. He's got a lot of good football left to be played. One of the lessons that Dom Capers learned in Carolina when he did that was he got too many older players in Carolina the first time around. Here in Texas, he tried to fix that. And this is looking for a face mask here. I didn't see the face mask.
It was borderline, but that was what the call was.
Yeah, I didn't see a face mask at all.
We have Donovan today, Steve, going for bonus, throwing the ball. He's had 16 pass attempts already in the first quarter. It would project to 64 for the game, but we've still got a couple minutes to go in the first quarter. Excuse me, 28 seconds to go.
That's what it is in the league now, Don. I mean, you spread it out and throw it. I mean, everybody's doing it.
McNabb comes in having thrown for 8 touchdowns, but it's in the last 2 weeks in those rout wins over the Redskins and the Cowboys that his numbers have been just off the charts. 5 touchdown throws, almost 600 yards passing, no interceptions, unstoppable. 81 points in the past 2 games scored by this Eagle team. Handoff, not a lot going on in the middle of the defense as they try Levens straight ahead. And that will do it for the first quarter of play. So after the first 15 minutes, the Eagles are challenging, but the Texans are leading 7-3. We'll return to Veterans Stadium right after this message.
Have been made.
Marginal at best, but it keeps the Eagles' drive alive.
It was Marciano, the line coach for the Texans, blowing up.
Texans defense has allowed only 5 touchdowns this season. Now McNabb tries to get him as he runs, and they hold a linebacker taking a look at him. Jamie Sharper, 55, who had a phenomenal game last week against the Colts. 13 tackles, a sack, and he forced 2 fumbles. Key part of the Ravens Super Bowl championship team.
You see here is the play developed. This Jimmy Sharper, you see there spying on Donovan McNabb. Just watching where McNabb went, didn't drop into coverage, didn't run to the running back, just watched Donovan McNabb and mirrored his image. That's Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator for the Texans.
He was with Don Capers for 4 years at Carolina. Here's McNabb making a throw. It's caught, and down at the 1-yard line is James Thrash coming off the flank. Former Redskin. Very, very reliable pass catcher. Caught 63 balls, 8 for touchdowns last season. That's his 15th catch of this season.
Look at that throw and catch. Aaron Glenn was all over that route. James Thrash picked it up off the top of the turf and pulled it in. Great play.
McNabb has thrown for 8 touchdowns this season. He's run for 2. Might be 3 in a moment. Let's see what they go to out of a power set. Deuce Staley, the eye back. McNabb's going to throw. Lobs the ball down, and it's tipped away beautifully. As coming over to defend was Eric Flowers, number 93. A former #1 draft choice of the Bills, who was a disappointment there, but he makes a big play with the Houston Texans.
Comes off, he was playing linebacker here for the Texans. He comes out in coverage. A little undersized to play defensive end. Obviously not going to get too many interceptions catching the ball like that. But an excellent play, and that's one of the problems with a 3-4 defense. Anybody can drop out and anybody can rush.
Got to watch McNabb on the quarterback draw. He goes to Staley, and he hits in. And the Eagles take the lead. A 1-yard touchdown, and Deuce Staley is in the end zone for the 2nd time this season. And it looks like it might be Eric Flowers who broke up the pass, who's shaken up.
Well, on the first play, down close, the Eagles tried to trick the Texans on a play action, little pop over to the tight end, broken up by that guy Eric Flowers right there. On 2nd down, there was nothing of that. This was just a power run right over the right side of the offensive line. And that's just Deuce Staley just picking his spot. And this is, you see right there, Flowers got bent over his, what looked like his right leg.
So an extended first half now with a couple of injuries. Looks like the injured Eagle is okay. Hugh Douglas, who had a knee contusion. And now it's good to see big Eric Flowers up, but he's walking very gingerly on that right leg. The David Carr fumble is quickly turned into a touchdown by the Philadelphia Eagles. Aided by a questionable face mask call against the Texans, and now Akers, after the touchdown run by Staley, hits the point after, but markers are down. Johnny Greer, who's been added as an official in the National Football League for 22 years, will make the pronouncement on what that was. Must be against the Texans, because their kick coverage team, rush team, is going off the field.
Much to do about declined penalty here. You're going to take the point.
Offside on the defense, right side of the line. The extra point is good. Will penalize on the kickoff.
Well, now it's going to be interesting to see, can the Texans bounce back from this disappointment. The fumble by Carr. When we talked to Capers yesterday, the numbers he put forth on what your results are going to be if you're negative on turnovers was very difficult to overcome.
On CBS is sponsored by Pizza Hut. Go deep with the new Chicago dish, only at Pizza Hut. Wachovia Securities. Together we can achieve uncommon results. And by Formula 51. Coming soon to theaters. Rated R.
Eagles kicking off now. David Akers hits the ball high. A spinning kick downfield, and Avion Black from the 2-yard line. And Avion Black is quickly taken down and hard at the 14-yard line by Lito Shepherd, a rookie. Lito, #1 draft choice out of Florida. Last season he was never beaten for a touchdown with the Gators, and now McNabb, who got his team back in the lead. A 10-7 lead, and we'll see what David Carr can do. When you're talking about Dom Capers talking about turnovers, he said at Carolina, when they were minus on turnovers, they had more than the opposition. They won one game and lost 17. When they were even or plus on turnovers, they won 80% of the time. That's how big turnovers are. Throw and a catch, and again, Carr looks for the guy he's going to more and more as he drills the ball in to Bradford. And it's ahead for a gain of about 8 yards on the play. Coming up on the Nextel halftime report, join Jim, Dion, Dan, and Boomer, and special guest Peyton Manning for all the scores and highlights. It's coming up on the Nextel halftime report. That was great with the Peyton and Boomer and Dan going over the how you play fake.
Oh, yeah. Dan never had to play fake too much, I'll tell you that.
Well, they knew he was going to throw. He was a good faker. Second down and short. With a run. First down, a power run. James Allen, 5'10", 215-pound back.
Eric Flowers, the defensive end for the Texans, who went off the field at the end of that last series, has a sprained ankle and is questionable for his return.
This is a big drive here for the Texans. There is Flowers getting looked at. David Carr brings his team out. 1st and 10 at the 27-yard line. He's going to let it rip. Here comes the rush. There's the ball on the field. Carr got it back. But again, the Eagles, and we have to go back to what the coach Capers said, there's nobody better in football at stripping the ball than the Eagles, and they've done it again, but he did get it back.
Yeah, it looked like Carr got it back, but actually it was his offensive lineman that fell on it. Carr was down. It looked like he was out for a minute. Watch as this is where, if you step away from the pressure, you know it's coming from the backside. Watch here. Hugh Douglas just stays with it.
Jimmy Herndon falls on it. Right tackle.
Carr stayed down from him. And this is the kind of cumulative effect that you worry about in a young quarterback. He's going to get hit like this time and time again, and sooner or later it's going to affect his play.
Loss of 9 on the play. This rush is going to affect your play, Steve, as he's swept under. 3rd sack. 22nd time this season in less than 3.5 games that he's been swept under on sacks.
Well, we talked about earlier that the Eagles looked flat coming out. It looks like they've found their stride now. This is a very fast sack. He pumps it once, and then Grossmanis just falls off to the inside. Weary loses his block to the inside, and Carr takes the heat for it. They are bringing a lot of pressure, and this crowd is helping out.
Eagle fans really kick in now on 3rd down. Needing 23. Carr is on the run. He better slide. And he gets the ball out to the 23-yard line. 15 yards short of a first down. Brandon Whiting runs him down. And that will bring out the punting unit of the Houston Texans. Andy Reid, I asked him yesterday, what's the key to this game? He said, intensity. We've got to bring it. He said, we can't look past this team. We've got to keep going what we had going the last 2 weeks when they blew out divisional opponents, the Redskins and the Cowboys.
Well, after a quick feeling out period here in that first quarter, the Eagles have shown up big in the second.
Here's the punt, hit downfield by Chad Stanley. The fair catch made at the 36-yard line by Brian Mitchell. Guy you spent a lot of time in Hawaii with at the Pro Bowls, too.
I've chased Brian Mitchell a long, long way in this National Football League. He's one of the best.
Don Criqui with Steve Tasker back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. Where the Eagles, after falling behind 7-0, have now come back with a lot of yardage, as you see in their last 2 drives. And Andy Reid's team off to a 2-1 start. A disappointing loss. They led by 2 touchdowns at Tennessee opening day, then lost the game, and then have come back to destroy the Redskins and the Cowboys in the last 2 games, both divisional games. Now McNabb with a single back set, 3 wide receivers, screens the ball. Well done. This is the deuce. Staley's ahead across the 45-yard line. And ahead for a gain of 13 yards and a first down. Next Saturday, the Home Depot SEC on CBS sizzled with doubleheader excitement First, Rex Grossman and the Gators tangle against Eli Manning and the Rebels of Ole Miss. Then David Green sparks the Georgia Bulldogs against Tyler Watts and the Crimson Tide. For more, go to CBSSportsline.com. America Online keyword CBS Sportsline. First down, Eagles. The Eagle team has scored 105 points in the first 3 games, the most by an Eagle team in over 50 years. First 3 games. Cecil Martin gets another pass. You recall the earlier reception he had for 17 yards. This one is good for 8. And that'll bring up second down and about 3 as Keith Mitchell and Eric Brown were the tacklers.
Anytime you have a really good offense, Don, there's always more than one reason for it. Donovan McNabb's a big reason, but that guy right there is a big reason too. He has a great knack for calling plays that put his guys in position to win. He's unpredictable. He doesn't fall into trends. He throws in trick plays at the proper time. I think he has a real gift for calling plays that defenses find hard to predict.
Keeps him guessing. It's hard to mount an all-out rush. Here's a rush now, and this time they strip the ball from McNabb, and he gets it back at the 48-yard line. Keith Mitchell busted through.
That's one of the things a good defense, especially a good 3-4 defense, will do. Every so often they'll come up with a big one, and this is a big sack here. Brings up a 3rd and 11 off of a 2nd and 2, and that's Donovan McNabb just being smart. You know, a lot of guys try and pick that up and make something happen. It's not the time to do that. Just end the play with the ball.
See McNabb, he's been under duress today. Sacked twice, hurried 8 times. He's been knocked down, and right now he wants to talk it over. As Donovan McNabb calls a timeout with 8:15 to play in the first half, and the Eagles leading the Texans 10-7.
On CBS is sponsored by Gateway, where you've got a friend in the business. And by Burger King. Say hello to the new 99-cent BK value menu.
Back to Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. 72 degrees. Clouds above, but no threat of rain. And the Eagles, who fell behind to 7-0. McNabb today has thrown passes and completed them to 5 different receivers. His counterpart, the rookie, David Carr, has thrown 4 completions, 1 for a touchdown, but all 4 completions have gone to one guy, Corey Bradford. A lot more diversity in the Eagle offense as you'd expect from this veteran team. And now McNabb, he has a problem with Foreman again.
A lot of flags down in the secondary, Don, as Donovan McNabb went down. Another sack. You got to think it's going to be holding in the defensive backfield.
That would negate the 3rd sack of this game by the Texans defense.
Anytime a quarterback breaks contained and starts pumping the football, it becomes more and more difficult for defensive backs to guard the receivers. And they start to hang on because they're used to guarding receivers for about 3, 4, maybe 4.5 seconds. And then when the quarterback can contain, like Donovan McNabb, he breaks contain, then they have to guard him for 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds. And they start to get a little bit desperate. And they start to latch on to those guys back in the secondary.
Holding. 36. Defense.
Automatic first down. Defensive holding.
And that's a play that's made possible by Donovan McNabb. Don, his ability to stay away from the pressure and stay alive puts too much pressure on the defensive secondary right there. This is the hold right there that they call.
So the ball is advanced to the 47-yard line of the Texans. Levens gets 2.
When you talk about spreading the football around on offense, this is it. Wide receivers have caught 6, running backs have caught 4. Now the tight ends, McNabb hasn't found them yet. But
he's got a good one. Chad Lewis, who's been to the Pro Bowl twice. That's his main go-to tight end.
He's also got a veteran backup in Jeff Thomason, who's a 10-year vet, who's also very adept at catching him. And they use everybody. They got 3 wide receivers in now and 2 backs. This is another personnel set for them.
And it starts with McNabb's unusual ability to see the whole field. He knows where everybody is. Here's Pinkston catching the ball. Gain on the play of about 5 to the 40-yard line. Marcus Coleman comes in to make the stop. See why CBS Monday is America's best night of television, starting with The King of Queens, followed by Yes Dear, Everybody Loves Raymond, and the series premiere of Still Standing. Then don't miss the new hit series CSI Miami, plus The Late Show with David Letterman after your local news. That's Monday here on CBS. McNabb is now 11 of 21 throwing the ball. 100 yards, no touchdowns, the one interception to Eric Brown. Quick drop, timing throw, this could go. Pinkston, the fastest Eagle receiver, dives over the 10-yard line and down to about the 6.
Aaron Glenn was on the coverage, and he tried to get the interception done, and he got there a tenth of a second too late. Watch on the outside of the top of your screen. Aaron Glenn thinks he's going to pick that ball off, and he gives up the big play. Pinkston down the sideline.
Pinkston doesn't look like a football player, Steve. 6'3", about 168 pounds, but he sure plays like a all-pro today. That was a 33-yard play. You're not going to catch him usually when he gets away. He's the fastest Eagle receiver. Now they challenge 1st and goal. Here's Staley working towards the end zone, and he's down to the 2-yard line. Stopped just short of the end zone. Jerry DeLoach, 95, got him down.
And then down inside the 10-yard line, it's so important to run the football effectively. Everybody in the league tells you the run is important, but you see everybody throwing it around all over the football field out between the 20s. But when every team gets down close, they always would love to hand the ball off.
Hand it off they do, and it is touchdown Eagles as Staley's in the end zone again. The Deuce has 2 touchdowns.
And this is another running play, power set right to the behind the tight end there, right behind Chad Lewis, and then behind the lead block of Cecil Martin, and Deuce Staley finds the end zone once again.
Akers pounds the extra point through, and the Eagles have roared back now after trailing early. The Eagles rally back with 17 unanswered points on short touchdown runs for the 2 touchdowns, and they take a 10-point lead.
One of the things the Texans are finding out is they do win with defense in the National Football League, Don, but you don't score enough points to win with your defense.
5:13 left to go in the first half, and David Carr and the Texans offense will get the ball back. Forced to throw to try to get the ball downfield. They scored a touchdown earlier today. It was their first touchdown in 33 possessions. They've gone 2 games without a touchdown. For our NFL scrapbook, we asked Donovan McNabb who his favorite player was growing up.
Warren Moon, mainly because of just the things he had to go through in order to get to the position that he was. Not being drafted, not having a call to be a free agent in the NFL, going over to Canada, pretty much asserting himself as the best player over there in the Canadian League, setting records and having an opportunity to come over to the NFL and continue on with that process.
I caught my first NFL pass from Warren Moon.
Well, you started with the Houston Oilers.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Warren Moon was one of the truly great ones. He really was.
And here's the kick. He surely was. Avion Black now takes the kickoff back. 15, 20. Hits some room across the 30 and the 40. And a penalty marker's thrown. It's coming back. 3 markers down on the field. Blocking fouls against the Texans, the most penalized team in the NFL through the first 3 games. And that will negate a 47-yard return.
Lamar Jason's going to get called for the hold, and it was obvious. He was out in front of Avion Black, had the last block to make, and he grabbed all jersey.
Holding number 58 of the receiving team during the return.
Right here is the hold, and this isn't the best angle to see it, but he's got a handful of the back of the Eagles player that he's blocking. And you can see it looked like a laundry chute opening, all the flags coming down.
Yeah, they all came out. First down as the Texans this time after that long return is negated will start from their 27-yard line. And the run. Nothing there for James Allen, who was banged as he hits the line of scrimmage. May have even lost a yard. Sean Barber, an outside linebacker, he said to us yesterday, Barber, that they all try to run on us, then they get behind and they have to throw. It's the blast by the Bay when Cristiano Demeda, Bruno Yanchietta, Dario Franchitti, and Michael Andretti are expected to lead the pack at the Grand Prix Americas next Sunday right here on CBS Sports. That leads the league in names. Here's a throw and a catch by Bradford coming off the left flank, and he's out to the 35-yard line. Bobby Taylor takes him down, 8-yard gain, and he continues to go to Bradford, his 5th catch.
And David Carr's, you know, as you see a guy try to develop in the National Football League, it's true all over it. If you want to help him develop, the best thing you can do is, yeah, you can give him an offensive line to protect him, but give him a running game that he can depend on. The 3rd and 2 in this situation is much better than the 3rd and 12 they've been facing all day.
Yeah, the last catch to actually Jabbar Gaffney. And it is good for a gain of 8 yards. Now Carr takes a look, throws downfield, intercepted. Brian Dawkins, the greatest free safety in the game, takes it down the sideline. And David Carr, young as he is, with all that potential, is overmatched against this Eagle defense. 28-yard return by Dawkins.
Carr got caught in the pocket. He pump faked, and if he would have let it go on the first motion, he might have had a chance to squeeze it in. As he pulls this ball back, it gives the free safety you see at the top of your screen, it gives him a chance to cover more ground to break on the football. If he could throw that football on the first pump instead of waiting, that might have had a chance, but as it was, Dawkins had too much time to get there.
Second turnover of the day by David Carr. Reverse. Now they're going to throw it. They're going to try. That's Fred Mitchell. But Fred Mitchell is unceremoniously whacked over at the 36-yard line by Jay Foreman.
Well, Fred Mitchell may not have the greatest arm, but he did make a pretty good decision as a quarterback there. Just get rid of it. Take the incompletion, and that's good preparation. You know, you talk about how many things can happen on any given play. As he comes around here, you got to know they told him, listen, if it's not there, if you're going to get tackled, throw the incompletion. Might not want to throw it that far in bounds, but just get rid of it.
The Eagles are waiting for Fred Mitchell to emerge. He was a #1 draft pick out of UCLA last year, has only 1 catch this year. Here's a screen pass, Dorsey Levens. And on a 2nd down and 10 play, he's ahead for a gain of 7, taken down by backer Kylie Wong, number 52.
Once again, you have to kind of nod your head in appreciation of the play selection that Andy Reid gives to Donovan McNabb. A screen pass here, a reverse pass there. You know, and then you have Deuce Staley and the rest of the running backs on a powerful running game. And this is an offense that is tough to handle because of all the different looks, the personnel combinations, plus the quality people they give you. And that's Brad Childress, the offensive coordinator right there.
They have a deep playbook, and they use it all. These Philadelphia Eagles. Here's McNabb throwing, and it's incomplete. Brings up 4th down and a long field goal attempt. They got a guy who can hammer them in Akers. Coming up on the Nextel halftime report, join Jim, Deion, Dan, and Boomer, and a special guest, Peyton Manning of the Colts, for all the scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Nextel halftime report.
Don, you and I sat here in the pregame warm-ups watching David Akers kick. He was trying them from 60
and making them. Here's a 41-yard attempt. Easy money for David Akers as he drives it through, and the Eagles extend their lead now to 20-7 with 2:42 to play in the first half. This past week, everybody in the National Football League Sorry to see the passing of Mike Webster, a great player. You knew him, Steve, from the Pro Bowls. Steeler, All-Pro center and Hall of Famer. Died of an apparent heart attack. Mike Webster was 50 years old, and he's got to rank as one of the great centers ever.
No question about it. I walked into my first Pro Bowl locker room in Hawaii, and there sat Mike Webster, and let me tell you something, I was awestruck.
He wasn't a real big guy, but he had such great feet and hands. He sure kept him off Bradshaw.
At the end of his career, he was one of the few guys who was still playing who was really regarded as legendary by the guys who played with and against him.
Philadelphia Eagles, 20-plus points in the first half of every game. At Tennessee, they had 2-touchdown lead in the first half. They won't be giving back any leads much more this season, I don't think.
We spoke to some of their defenders, and they say, hey, that's the best run defense ever. Just get ahead by 20 points. We don't have to defend the run.
Now it's up to the Texans. They've got to keep playing hard like their defense is. Keep fighting. Let's see what they can do when they get the ball back. Avion Black to return another kickoff. You know, it's not a good day for your team when you're running back kickoffs every 5 minutes. Black stuck, knocked down hard. As coming over to make the play for the Philadelphia Eagles was Barry Gardner, number 52, a linebacker from your former school, Northwestern.
That's right. Not too many Northwestern guys in the league, but David Carr takes the field. 2:38 left in the first half. You know what? This is one more learning experience he can go through. You know, there's a lot of things, and I asked him, you know, how he thinks it's coming. He says, you know what? I need to see everything at least once before I get it under my belt. And he's seen a lot of things he doesn't want to see today, mostly guys in his lap.
Yeah, well, he got some good advice, Steve, from Peyton Manning last week after the Colts game. Manning told him, whatever you do, don't lose confidence. You're going to get better. And he also told David Carr, David was telling us that the game will start to slow down. Everything is so fast at the NFL level, but once you're in it for a while, you'll see things unfold more clearly. The game will seem to slow down. When you first start as a rookie, as Peyton did, started every game, I think, as a rookie.
Yeah.
It's 100 miles an hour every snap.
You're right. Once you see things once, then you see them again. It doesn't seem like it happens so fast, and that's what they mean when the game slows down. I think here, the Texans running the ball off the left side on this 1st and 10 with 2:13 to go. That's a smart thing. Don't abandon the run. I mean, you've got to run your offense. Don't get in a catch-up mode. Just do what you know you're capable of doing.
Now we're down to the 2-minute warning. The Eagles in command after trailing early. Eagles 20-7. The Texans 20-7. Don Criqui with Steve Tasker. All of us who've been involved in the NFL for as long as we have, Steve, are delighted to see Houston back in the professional football, the NFL. Houston is a great football city in a great football state, and this is going to be a tremendous franchise down the line.
I think so. That they've got a state-of-the-art facility. They've got good, solid ownership. They've got a great head coach, and they know how to do it. He's been around the block once already as a head coach of the expansion team. They're going to continue to improve, and I think it's going to be a great franchise, a great addition.
They go to the run, do the Texans, and get the ball to the 25-yard line. James Allen runs again. He's just a real solid back and a leader. They say he's great in the locker room. In his 5th year out of Oklahoma, 4 years as a Chicago Bear.
Yeah, that's one of the interesting things about you think about how the dynamics in the locker room work. This is a club that didn't just fall out of the sky. They got a lot of guys who've been around the block. They have players from 23 different teams on this club here in Houston.
Andy Reid, he saw that intensity he wanted from the outset finally come to fruition midway through the first quarter. And his team has started to roll. Are you winning your fantasy matchup? Get real-time scores and stats for your fantasy team at CBSSportsline.com or on America Online. Enter keyword CBS Sportsline.
You and I were in the hallway at the facility over where the Philadelphia Eagles practice. Sean Barber yesterday came up to us and actually was like Reed's asking us for advice on who we should start in his.
That's right.
In his fantasy league. Even the players are doing fantasy football.
You told him to go with Jim Miller against the Bills.
Yes, I did. I told him to go with Jim Miller against the Bills. He had Jim Miller, and his other quarterback was some other guy. I told him to go Jim Miller because this point scoring totals in Buffalo are going to go high this year. You're playing against air in Buffalo these days on defense.
7-on-7 drills.
That's right.
Third down, marker thrown.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 76, offense.
False start is signaled
Still
against
third down.
the Houston Texans. So Dom Capers did say, although they're the most penalized team in the league, the penalty count has been coming down. We were talking to McKinney, Steve McKinney, the center, former Aggie from Texas A&M, and he told us he's been around. He was with Peyton Manning and with the Colts for several years, and he said David Carr is going to be a great player in this league. Watch. He said he has everything but experience at this point. He goes to Bradford, and man, he gets whacked. Troy Vincent comes up from the left corner and puts a helmet on him. Bobby, they got big corners too. There's Bobby Taylor, 6'3", 216. Vincent got the first shot.
Yeah, they've run that play a couple of times, and in this league, you're not going to get away with it too often. They went to the bucket one too many times, and they paid the price on that play.
Which rookie has made the biggest impact thus far this season? Deion Branch, Andre Davis, Randy McMichael, Clinton Portis, Julius Peppers, who had 3 sacks in one game, or the super fast Donnie Stallworth. Cast your vote at NFL.com. It's tough to be good as a rookie.
Yeah,
these guys are.
I'll tell you what, I think I go with the team in that. I think there's a rookie there, but I think the tight end out of Miami is having the biggest impact, and that's a team that needs more offensive help, and I think he's giving it to him. McMichael down in Miami.
It's been very productive. The Eagles will get the ball back with 1:29 showing on the first half clock. Eagles with 20 straight points after trailing 7-0. Here's a booming punt by Chad Stanley. Brian Mitchell knows what to do with it. Loses tacklers, and Mitchell finally is taken down at the 36-yard line. 1:18 to go in the half, and a guy like McNabb can work magic in that amount of time.
That's plenty of time. 1:18.
50-yard punt by Stanley and a 7-yard return. Looking at Donovan McNabb, there's a guy in the Eagles organization, Jim Gallagher, who's been with the Eagles since 1949. He and Charlie Bednarik were rookies together. Jim never played, but he said, we were talking before the game about, he's seen all the great Eagles. About McNabb, he said he's more than a great player. He's one of the best people we've ever had.
He stands head and shoulders above everybody. You know, you asked him, we thought, is there going to be animosity about the contract he signed? He said no, because I'll tell you what, the players realize he does more things that a lot of them would not want to be a part of.
You can't outwork him. As McNabb is on the run, looking, and bailing out wisely. He's the 12th man to sideline as an ally.
Yeah, Donovan McNabb does so many things that you think, well, what would another player not want to do? He watches film constantly. He spends time with the media. He's a spokesman for the team. He's a leader on the team. He works hard. He watches film with other positions. He just stays. He comes early. He stays late. And the preparation that he puts in sets the tone for the entire organization. And that's why you're not going to hear anybody squawk about the money that he's making, because he seems to earn it.
McNabb on 2nd and 8. They pick up the blitz. He picks up his feet and takes off. And gets the first down and steps out of bounds. He's so tough to defend. Out of Syracuse University, where he also played varsity basketball. There's his mom on the phone, Wilma McNabb. She was here with his dad.
She's a very sweet lady, isn't she not?
Asked Donovan what he did to celebrate the big new contract. Said, just had dinner with my folks, cracked jokes.
Yeah.
Looked at some tape and went to bed.
Another quiet evening at home. He signed a $115 million contract and go to bed early.
Wilma's also becoming somewhat famous now as a commercial spokesman along with Donovan. From Chicago. Throw and a catch, and cut down is Chad Lewis, and there's a penalty marker down.
That's going to be a hold, and this is going to set him back a little bit.
Down to 54 seconds to play in the first half.
And this is the point of the game where you're in a 2-minute drill where a mobile quarterback really hurts a defense, because even though you defend a play.
Holding, 74, offense. Still first down.
even though you defend the play well, he can still make a play against you. You see here. Right there you see it. And that's the hold, and that's going to set him back and make it 1st and 20 now. But you can see it in this 2-minute drill. McNabb makes so many things happen. He stopped the clock twice after a 1st down. It took him 15 seconds to go 15 yards, and the clock was stopped. It's just tough to defend.
Now McNabb, if they whistle, it looked like it might have been a false start. Chad Lewis, who caught that last pass, Steve, has an interesting philosophy.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 69, offense.
False start against the Eagles. Chad Lewis says, here's his quote now. I want you to work on this. True gold does not fear the refiner's fire.
Very nice.
Well, here's a guy that, proved to stay with it. He was on the waiver wire twice. He's made the Pro Bowl twice. The Eagles stayed with him.
Well, it's true. I mean, most of these guys have been through some adversity in their careers. Even the guys you don't get to this level without playing football for a long time and going through some hard times. And it just becomes ingrained in part of the weeding out process. You don't play in the National Football League unless you have the mentality to overcome adversity.
Marty Schottenheimer was telling us last week, he was telling his unbeaten team, be ready for one thing, adversity. It's coming at you. We haven't had it yet.
Well, Chad Lewis needs to look out for the 30-yard line there as he tripped over it when he caught that. And that's, what started out to be a pretty promising 2-minute drill is going to go.
We'll hear about that from the guys. They look at tape.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That can be called. 2nd down and 28. McNabb throws, makes a connection over the middle. And the deuce. He's been in the end zone twice today. Advances the ball across the 40-yard line. A gain of 11 yards on the play.
Before this drive, Deuce Staley only had 4 carries and 7 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns, which goes a long way toward easing your mind about only having 7 yards.
Last play of the half. McNabb fires downfield, and he's got pop on that ball, but too much on it as he sent it the way of James Thrash. And so the first half comes to an end. Interesting journey for the Eagles. They rally back to take a 20-7 lead after they trailed 7-0. Next, we're going to send you to Jim Nantz in the studio for the Nextel halftime report. But first, this message and a word from your local station. Philadelphia, where the Eagles lead at the half 20-7. Don Criqui with Steve Tasker. If you're going to beat the Eagles, you better bring a high-scoring offense. In the last 2.5 games, the Eagles have outscored their opposition 101 points to 27.
Not only that, they've scored 20 points or more in each of the first halves of these last 3 games. This team can put points on the board in a hurry, and it starts with Donovan McNabb. They're getting big plays all over the football field, and you'll see here it started out, the Eagles appeared to come out flat, but as a sign of a great team, they caught their second wind in a hurry, and they made the most of their opportunities.
Well, that terrific scoring play by the Texans, the 24-yard touchdown pass, that might have ignited the Eagles also, because they got their game face on after that and outgained the Texans 189 yards to 19 as they put up 20 unanswered points. Now the Eagles will get the ball to start the 3rd quarter of play. Chris Brown ready to kick off. There's the ball coming across the 10-yard line with Brian Mitchell. And let's take a look at some of the first half highlights, Steve.
Well, it all started with the Texans. A great pass here from Carr. And there you see it right to the end zone. You see there as Bradford pulls it in for the touchdown. They actually have the lead early.
Here's a quick out now going to Todd Pinkston. He beats the defender, and 33 yards later, he's down close, and soon after, the deuce goes in for a touchdown again.
And you're right, we said it before, Don, but this Eagles team came out, found their stride after getting hit in the face by the Texans. And it's like the Texans kind of tugged on Superman's cape, and Donovan McNabb came out of the phone booth.
And ready to go to work now. McNabb throwing on 1st down. No, running on 1st down. Throwing. Donovan, you're never quite sure. Look for somebody, nobody open, started to run, gave an underhand pitch, which is a forward pass to Chad Lewis.
Look at Chad Lewis laughing. I said, are you going to run it or throw it? They're laughing at each other. That's fun to be on a football team where you're doing stuff like that, where you're making plays and your quarterback gives you the pass reception, lets you run the football, and it's just fun to be in a game like that. There's nothing like it.
These Eagles offense are something to behold. They scored on their 4 straight possessions in the first half after falling behind. They've now scored on 19 of their last 32 possessions.
McNabb had the quick release there to Freeman and couldn't come in there. It looked almost like the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. It came out funny. Look at how it knuckleballed toward Freeman. He couldn't get a handle on it, and it was deflected.
Freeman's a weapon, though. Andy Reid, when he was an offensive coach at Green Bay, Freeman was an all-pro receiver with Brett Favre. Well, he's come in here, and Reid thinks he's the best slot receiver he's ever seen in a West Coast offense. He'll go over the middle and catch the ball. They've defended pretty well today. Staley tries to run. Not much going on 2nd down and 10 as he's thrown back.
You can see right there at the end of that play, it's kind of rough down inside there. This Texans defense is going to make some adjustments at halftime, and you can bet one thing, they're going to do their best to stop the run. And Donovan McNabb, they may give him his plays, but these guys up front, they have a very, very solid front 4 or front 7.
Yeah, these linebackers.
Yeah.
Wong, who led those tacklers, and Jay Foreman and Sharper, the inside backers, also coming up. Now McNabb at his most dangerous on 3rd and long. A quick drop and a throw. Beautifully threaded in. And we talked about Antonio Freeman being expert at coming over the middle in the West Coast offense. And he does it there for a 13-yard gain on 3rd and 10.
Freeman comes out of the slot right here on the right of your screen. McNabb looks right at him and throws it. You see there, kind of throw it over the rush, throw it over the top of the defender, and get it down in front. I'll tell you what, that's a guy that really has helped this offense. Antonio Freeman gives him one more solid, experienced player that they can go to in crucial situations.
He tore up the Cowboys, as you know, Steve, last week with 6 catches for 118 yards and a touchdown, did Antonio Freeman. Now Brian Westbrook, who was the Division I AA Player of the Year at Villanova last season, gets the call, number 36. What college numbers he put up. 1 year in '98, he became actually the first player in NCAA history to rush for over 1,000 yards and catch passes for over 1,000.
And he had it all. I mean, he's a guy that you're going to get in there. But you notice that he comes in for play and leaves, and the Eagles run in a whole new set of offensive personnel for the defense to get settled in with.
Here's an all-out blitz. McNabb beats it with a throw to the outside. A good defense by the Texans, and Chad Lewis is knocked out of bounds after a very short gain.
The crowd wanted a penalty on Matt Stevens there, but if he's in bounds, he's going to hit him. One thing about it, Matt Stevens has always been a guy who gets that shot in watching.
Boy, that
was a late hit. I got to tell you, that was a late hit. They let it slide. See, his foot's out of bounds, and you're responsible. Doesn't matter if he just gets out as you hit him. He was out. Matt Stevens kind of got away with one.
Third down. McNabb and the Eagles need 7. Waving it off. Todd Pinkston went low to get the ball, but they say it hit the ground. And so after 4 straight possessions scoring, the Eagles have to punt the ball as they open the 3rd quarter. Landeta in to punt. At age 40, punting better than ever, Sean Landeta, in his 18th year out of Towson State. Punted for a Giants Super Bowl championship team.
We ran into him, and I've known him for 10 or 12 years, and I did not reckon he's a guy that the last guy you'd think of would be a professional athlete. When you see him, there's a fake, Don.
Look at this. The Eagles on the run. One man to beat. The block is there. And Dawkins flying into the end zone. And so Andy Reid, a master at trick plays. That results in a 57-yard touchdown and blows the game wide open, if in fact it wasn't blown open long ago.
Well, Don, we spent our time talking about Sean Landeta, and he wasn't even involved in the play. Watch as they'll snap it to Brian Mitchell. He's going to run it, but it's a shovel pass, and you see there, almost almost goes down. Dawkins almost can't keep his feet enough to catch the ball, but he has the speed to get to the end zone. It's a foot race, and they caught the Texans totally unaware, and it's amazing because no team in the league has run more trick plays thus far than the Eagles have, and they continue to do it every week.
And that'll go as a touchdown pass from Brian Mitchell to Sean Dawkins. They'll now go for 2, will the Eagles, to try to build this lead. 25-7 lead. McNabb throws, and he makes the connection for the 2-point conversion.
Wow.
Chad Lewis.
That was a great throw on a 2-point conversion. You may not see a better throw it down close than that all year on that 2-point. That gives the Eagles a 21-point advantage.
Donovan McNabb, with his brilliance at quarterback, seemingly under duress, threads the ball in, and what had to be a perfectly timed throw for the 2-point conversion. As he continues to work his magic for the Eagles, and they build their lead now. Kickoff hit downfield. Avion Black slip at the goal line. Turns the corner, and Black is out across the 35-yard line. David Akers comes over and gets a piece of him, helps knock him out of bounds. The kicker.
Well, this 2-point conversion will give you a little encapsulated version of what Donovan McNabb can do. Watch as he drops back. When he throws this football, he's jumping backwards off his back foot, and watch the velocity that he gets on this out to Chad Lewis, who has to snare it and get it in. If you've got an NFL franchise, Donovan McNabb's the guy you want to pay $115 million to lead it.
Well, they just did. As Tom Capers says, he tests the discipline of your defense. You've got to be ready for everything. You can't be out of position against this guy. Allen turns the corner. James Allen of the Texans is ahead across the 45-yard line out to the 47. Barry Gardner knocks him out.
This week in the newspaper, this is the headline. You see there the 115 with the 5 being his jersey number. And it was big. There's no question it was big news. But I'll tell you what, Andy Reid was standing next to him in practice, and he hadn't had a chance to say hello or anything. He walked up and said, "Hey, congratulations, Donovan." Donovan was focused on practice. He says, "What are you talking? What? For what?" He's like, "For the, how about the $115 million contract you just signed there, pal?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, thanks."
He went out business as usual. Here's Carr, a screen pass, nicely executed. First down and more for the Texans as they get the ball inside the 45-yard line of the Eagles. James Allen runs the ball. Barry Gardner gets him down, but it's a gain of 9 for the Texans.
You see, there's the Texans. This is the first half. And these are things that get you, the interception and the fumble. Everything else you can kind of live with, but that, when you give your opponent a chance to score and you rob yourself of a chance to score, I mean, that's where the game gets away from you in a big hurry.
And they, of course, jumped on the turnovers. The 2 by Carr, 1 an interception he threw and 1 a fumble he lost. And that helped the Eagles take back the lead and take command of the game.
CBS is sponsored by Jeep, the most respected, honored, and heroic 4x4s out there. Only in a Jeep 4x4. TD Waterhouse, all the tools and services to keep you in control of your finances. And by IBM. E-business is the game. Play to win.
Sunny day in Philadelphia, and sun shining again on Andy Reid's team as Tom Capers looking out now his young offense, which ranks 32nd and last in the league. But he has a defense that through the first 3 games rates number 8 in the entire NFL. Remarkable for an expansion team. Texans need points. You're not going to get enough with off-tackle runs against this Eagle defense as Gardner makes the stop on Allen. They're trying to do something, though, to keep the rush of their quarterback.
Yeah, well, David Carr's still trying to learn some things about being a leader. You know what? I'll tell you the truth, Don. David Carr could do one thing. If he could do one thing, he should spend a week in the pocket of Donovan McNabb to see how it's done, because Donovan McNabb really sets the standard for how to prepare for an NFL game and be a leader. And David Carr will learn how to do that.
Here's Carr on a rollout. Side down the ball in beautifully. A very well executed play as the tight end Billy Miller with his second reception of the year. His first one was memorable. It was for a touchdown against the Dallas Cowboys in that opening night win. That was good for 12.
This is David Carr. He had a chance to go deep, but decided to take the sure thing. Puts this into Billy Miller, who pulls it in. Carr thought about going deep. He had Bradford going down on the sideline, but he decided the better of it to make sure he got the first down. It was probably a wise move.
Good methodical opening drive on their first possession of the third quarter. Carr throws. Bradford's there. He's got the ball. Touchdown Texans. What a play. 29 yards. So twice today, Carr to Bradford's been on the payoff end. And it is Texas touchdown after going 2 games without any scores. They have 2 scoring throws today in this combination.
And this was a great throw as well. You see how he put just enough air on the football, and Bradford runs it down and gets it against Troy Vincent, who is a dynamite cornerback. That's 3 pretty good players coming together to make a play. Troy Vincent coming out on the short end, but that was a great play, and that's the kind of thing that will pick this offense up.
The extra point is hit up and good. Bradford having a big day. He's caught 6 for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns, both thrown by rookie David Carr. The confidence of young David Carr has to be rising, Steve, with these tremendous scoring throws he's had today to Bradford. Chris Brown kicks off. Brian Mitchell, who's headed to the Hall of Fame when his playing days are over, as a kick returner, and that's the reason why, as he breaks through it. And who would have thought that Brian Mitchell would have a touchdown pass today, but that's what he's got.
He never fell down when I was chasing him.
Remember yesterday he said that he's the 3rd quarterback, the emergency quarterback. He said, I don't want to be out there doing that.
That's right. We look back at the touchdown that David Carr just threw. You know, all the bad things that have happened, the getting stripped from behind, all of that. It's great to see him go out, make a great throw, and have a guy make a play for him, because Troy Vincent had this well defended, and Bradford pulled it in. Sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes you make a great play. David Carr on that time made a great throw, and his receiver made a good catch.
28-14. McNabb on a rush, but he breaks the containment again and fires low, or only his receiver has a play on it. Incomplete pass, 2nd down and 10. For want of a shoe, a horse was lost, right?
He's Donovan McNabb. There's his numbers, 18 for 32. The 1 interception happened early when it seemed the whole team was kind of a little bit flat.
McNabb said that I play this game to be the best, and the only way to be the best is to outwork everyone. He and his center, Hank Fraley, they have what they call dinner and a movie a couple nights a week. They eat in the team cafeteria and then watch videotape, game tape until late at night. They call that dinner and a movie. Here is a free ball. It's on the field, and the Texans have it. It's a live ball. The officials running with it, as the ball was knocked free by Jay Foreman and picked up by Marcus Coleman. And now the turnover count is equal, and guess what? These Texans have renewed life.
Chad Lewis caught the ball, started to put it away and turn up the field, and it got hit immediately, and it came loose. And Coleman alertly picked it up and returned it.
So the excitement's built, and the game is tightening up here at the Vet in Philadelphia. Back in a moment.
On CBS is sponsored by Budweiser, delivering beer at its best with a crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers. And by Nextel. Nextel, how business gets done.
This game has turned, perhaps. Eagles still with command of the game, 28-14. But now the Texans have the ball back. And their quarterback has thrown for 2 already, and this time he hands off to another rookie, Jonathan Wells, the big back from Ohio State. David Carr keeps delivering the goods. 2 touchdown passes today, really picks up his confidence.
No question about it. If they can hang tough here, get a touchdown out of this or score, finish this game strong, come back, even scare the Eagles, or maybe even win this game, how big a boost will that be, not just for David Carr and his confidence, but for every guy on that sideline and everybody back in Houston watching.
The Texans coaches studied David Carr for over a year before making him the #1 pick in the draft. Here's a long ball. There's contact, but it's ruled inadvertent contact. Jabbar Gaffney, rookie from Florida, running a fly pattern. Dawkins defending. Tonight on CBS, Tom Cruise, Anthony Hopkins, and Ving Rhames star in the network television premiere of the action thriller Mission Impossible 2. That's tonight at 8:30, 7:30 Central Time on CBS.
Well, it was looking like Mission Impossible for the Texans up until that last drive when they had a nice drive for a touchdown, and then the turnover gives them an opportunity to pull within 1 touchdown of the Eagles.
Big play, 3rd and 6. Carr talked about having to get communication despite the crowd noise. He eludes Hugh Douglas, throws, makes the connection. It's close, but is it for a first down? The linesman coming in. Wow. If he gets it, he's going to get it by the nose of the ball. It might be just short.
It's going to be a spot where they spot. I don't think he's going to get it. I think he's going to be about 6 inches short. I'd think about going for it.
Heck yes, you'd go for it.
You see here, he's coming out. There's a chuck there, which is more than 5 yards down the lane, and he might have stepped out of bounds. If he steps out of bounds, he's ineligible to catch that pass anyway.
It was ruled a catch, and you see it is just short. But when you're an expansion team fighting for your life, trying to get better, and you're playing a team as good as the Eagles, and you got a 4th and a foot if this play does go, and it is a 4th and a foot, you got to go for it.
Yeah, there's no question. And it looks like they're going to go ahead. They're going to measure it and see what happens. And watch here.
He didn't get it.
As Carr. It was interesting. He did not get it. There's no question. In fact, they got a generous spot, and he still didn't get it. I think he steps out, and he's ineligible now. If upstairs, if the Eagles want to appeal that, they could appeal that as a completed pass and say, listen, he stepped out of bounds and therefore was ineligible, and they'd win, in my opinion.
Well, they're hearing what you're saying upstairs. We'll see if the red flag comes out.
Gaffney stepped out of bounds with his right foot and came back inbounds and caught that ball.
If you're the Texans, you make it happen fast. Eagles are exhorting their crowd to pick it up.
Watch his right foot right there. Does he step out of bounds?
No, his toes in the air.
Question mark. Yeah, it may not be conclusive.
His tape job in his ankles is also white, so it's hard to determine. 4th down and a foot for the Texans. Wells bangs through and gets the first down, and Houston drives on. Converting a 4th down, he needed a foot. He got about 8 yards.
And you look over at the Houston sideline, and all those guys were bouncing up and down after that play. This is a huge run by the rookie Jonathan Wells. Sees the hole outside, uses his vision, actually dropped the ball. It looked like there's the end, but pulled it back in. There's a big back, 6'1", 243. That's the kind of guy you want on 4th and short.
Well, he's in there on 1st and 10 too now as Wells, who gained over 1,300 yards running the ball last year at Ohio State. Throw to the end zone. Intercepted. What a play. Bobby Taylor, who was one of the standout players as a schoolboy in Texas in 5A football before going to Notre Dame, where he's an All-American, makes the defensive play of the game. David Carr just walked along the bench talking to his teammates, saying we're going to get it back. After throwing the interception, his 2nd interception of the day, he's also thrown for 2 touchdowns. But a tremendous play by Bobby Taylor of the Eagles, who was born in Houston. Now the Eagles go to the run as the clock shows 6:25 to play.
And we look one more time at the touchdown, and you talk about the maturation process of David Carr. Well, Jabbar Gaffney's got a thing or two to learn as well. Here, Bobby Taylor should have no chance of catching that ball. Jabbar Gaffney's got to break that pass up. That's a pass I think the coaching staff wants David Carr to throw. That's a play you want to have your guy throw and make. Jabbar Gaffney's got to keep the defender from making that play. You don't gripe if you're not going to play, if you don't get the ball, if you're not going to make that play for your quarterback.
Here's McNabb now ready to throw, and he has a problem. And again, he beats it with his feet, but then the pass is knocked down as Jerry DeLoach got a piece of it. A very big disparity here, Steve, in run pass. The Eagles have run only 15 times. They've passed 39. Monday on CBS, TV's best night of comedy just got a whole lot funnier. Don't miss the series premiere of the new hit comedy Still Standing, starring Mark Addy and Jamie Gertz. That's Monday at 9:30, 8:30 Central Time on CBS, right after Raymond.
And you talked, Don, about how young this team is. Jabbar Gaffney, at some point, is going to be asked to make plays like that. Now, I'm not saying he should have caught that ball, but if he wants to help his quarterback out in his team, he's got to knock that pass away.
He's not coming to you, and he's going to the other guy. You got to come at DB. A big play by Taylor, and now McNabb is sacked all the way back at the 15-yard line. Loss of 4 on the play, the 3rd sack of McNabb today. Jeff Posey comes in hard, number 98. He was in the Eagles training camp a year ago.
You see here, this is the 3-4, and that was a good job of blocking for the most part. You see there, Trey Thomas manhandling Kaylee Wong, but then behind him, Jeff Posey sneaks into the pocket and chases McNabb down. Sometimes your quarterback thinks he can do too much.
Landetta punting for the Eagles, a high punt. Coming up on it is Avion Black from the 44. And he gets to the 48-yard line. I remember asking great punt returner Rod Woodson one time, what's the key to returning kicks? Well, he said, as soon as you catch it, you run straight forward as fast as you can. Just like on Survivor. Thursday on Survivor, don't miss a challenge so intense the tribes will be at each other's throats, literally. The original and still the best in all new Survivor, Thursday at 8, 7 Central on CBS. Over in Thailand now.
I'd rather play football.
You played for Coach Glanville for 1 year with the Oilers, and then 12 years with the Bills.
Start, number 75, offense.
Ball start, sets the Texans back.
The Texans still have to be patient offensively. It's, you know, you're still in the 3rd quarter, plenty of time left. Just hang in there and run your offense. Don't get keyed up to the point where you can't function. Stay with your running game, use your whole playbook. Let your guys make some plays for you.
David Carr looking to make plays now on 1st down and 15 to the run. Wells turns the corner, goes out of bounds, got back the penalty yardage. It'll be 2nd down now and about 10. Wells was very upset that he was drafted in the 4th round. He thought the projection where he'd go as high as the 2nd round, and feels he has something to prove. Last week he ran the ball 14 times against the Colts for 94 yards, broke a 37-yard run, averaged 6.6 a carry. As the Texans really got their running game going last week much better.
Well, that'll really help the development of David Carr, obviously, and this guy will be a part of that. But I think right now they're worried about, with all the pressure that is being brought by defenses, they want a guy in there with experience blitz pickup, which means James Allen.
Quick hitch. This is Bradford with that burst of speed, and Bradford breaks it ahead on 2nd down and just over 10 for 9 yards. Believe it or not, in this game, the Texans have run for more yards than the Eagles. Houston has 68 yards rushing. The Eagles just 62. But in passing, the Eagles have doubled.
And this is a play they've run. I think this is the 5th time they've run a play of this nature. Quick pass, a right now pattern to the wide receiver. And Bradford, one time it works, and then the next time he'll get stuffed. So we'll see if they come back to it again.
Bradford having a career game, 7 catches today for 97 yards and 2 touchdowns. 3rd and short. Wells. He's alone, taking on tacklers, knocking him back, and he drives the ball down to the 35-yard line.
Well, one positive thing you can say about the Texans offense, they are good on short yardage.
They really are.
They have really dominated. They've got backs that put it up in there hard, Wells and Allen, and they look for holes and they find them. They've gotten their best running plays of the game on short yardage plays, 4th and short, 3rd and short.
On 1st down, David Carr, that strong arm gets the ball out near side, and Jabbar Gaffney is his receiver. 2nd round pick from the University of Florida.
And here's thrown right at the camera. And one thing, Carr he throws it hard. He's got a big arm, but he's also very accurate. Seems to me he throws it right where he wants it. He puts the ball right where he wants it every time. And Gaffney is quickly becoming a little better. He's learned one lesson today, I think.
Carr has a tremendous ability. I mean, he's green, he's new, but this guy has got it. Darwin Walker, number 97, comes crashing through. Darwin's an emerging success story here in Philadelphia. Told us yesterday that he worked for his dad's construction company. He's very, very strong. And he used to use a 40 to 50-pound hoe to work mortar. That's what got him strong.
He jumped right around Domingo Graham. Yeah, he's one of those guys. He's strong. He probably, when he started, probably couldn't bench very much, but he was strong anyway.
Working that hoe in the mortar. The special steel hoe they had made. Build his strength. Here is the throw. Almost an interception as the Eagles come smacking hard. Underneath throw. Rod Rutledge, the tight end, gets looked at, and Barry Gardner comes up.
The defense of the Eagles stepping up. One of the things that inside down there, Darwin Walker and Grossmanis, Whitting, all bringing pressure to bear on Carr, and that's been the big difference.
Chris Brown, the former Steeler, who's hit 3 of 4 field goals this season as a Texan now, will try one from the 38-yard line, a 48-yarder. He hits it. Plenty of distance. Drives it through. 48-yard field goal by Chris Brown, and the Texans inch closer, now trailing 28-17. Coming next, many of you will see a showdown of unbeatens when Tom Brady and the Patriots go against Drew Brees and the Chargers at San Diego. Or you'll see the Tennessee Titans take on the Oakland Raiders. Check local listings. For more, go to NFL.com. America Online keyword NFL.com. We've seen the Chargers. They're a surprising team. I'll tell you another good team that nobody knows about yet, but they will soon. Jacksonville. Hammering the Jets today. Nick Vermeil, the Kansas City Chiefs, said that the Jacksonville Jaguars, who the Eagles play next week, are the hardest hitting team in football. Said you get hit so hard by them, it affects your next game.
Yeah, you play these teams that are very physical and in your face and dominating, especially defensively. And the next week you come back, you just don't play as well. You saw there, that was a pretty good drive, 7-play drive. Anytime you can get about 7 plays on a drive, Don, you know you've been successful and you have the ability to at least change field position, even if you get no points. And on that drive at the end of it, obviously the field goal was the result.
Chris Brown ready to kick off. It's a spinning kick. They don't want to give the big run back. They get it to an up back. They'll take a tight end returning anytime. Running with the ball is Jeff Thomason. They talk about Donovan's democracy. Everybody gets the ball. But look at all the receivers he's using today.
That's one of the things about this offense. There you see Antonio Freeman. There you see Chad Lewis. And here's the Cecil Martin, the fullback. And there, of course, is Deuce Staley. All these guys catching the football. And there's Pinkston spreading the football around. Puts all that much more pressure on a defense. Plus, changing the personnel on the field all the time has really given Donovan McNabb free reign to do whatever he wants. Plus, his own feet help by time.
Yeah, he's hit 19 of 35 throws for 188 yards. And he's run the ball 3 times for 17 yards. So his numbers, by and large, are down over what they usually are. Testament to this Houston Texans defense, which came in ranked number 8 in the entire NFL.
I think at this point, you know, you get the feeling every time you see the Eagles run the football, you think, well, gosh, they're pulling in their sails and they're, you know, trying to play conservative. That's not necessarily the case. You want to keep your balance in your offense and make sure the defense doesn't load up and start rushing your quarterback every single play. You want to use your run game as much, but this is not the time to go into a shell offensively if you're Philadelphia.
Well, they're going to come out throwing. McNabb makes the throw. Tackler's there, and the stop is made. That'll bring a ball on the field. Do the Texans have it? They do. Stay tuned. 1:39 to go, and the Texans get it back. Jamie Sharper comes up with the ball.
Cecil Martin was the receiver, and that ball came out of there very late, but the officials did not blow it dead, did not call contact, down by contact, and the ball did come out. We'll see if it was early or late, as Cecil Martin will bring it back to the inside. Watch when the ball pops out. Difficult to see. Watch here. Oh, I think the ball was out. I think it was a good call.
The Eagles might want to test that, though. 1:39 left to play in the third quarter.
This is one, Don, where it's just such an important play.
It's a fumble.
It's such an important play and an important part of the game. You almost can't, you can't not challenge this.
Well, Andy Reid's going to challenge it. Looked like Gary Walker, who was banged up earlier as a guy that actually fell on the ball when it came out. Let's take a look.
He steps inside Kenny Wright, and I don't think they're going to see enough to reverse this call. Although you see there, players start to dive very early in that play. They see the ball out before anybody else does.
Yeah, Walker knocks it free. Here he comes, and then Jamie Sharper, 55.
That's out.
It's definitely out.
That's a fumble.
No question. Eagles a timeout.
No question about it. And the Eagles are going to be down a timeout. Yeah, the ball comes down. In fact, the ball hits the ground in the same spot where his knee eventually hits the ground, and the ball gets there first. This is the angle that'll show it. Watch Gary Walker. His left arm comes in and slaps the ball out, and the ball pops right out. The ball's on the ground, then his knee's on the ground. That's a good call by the official.
Yeah, the ruling on the field was a fumble, so of course to be overturned it would have to be irrefutable evidence that it was not a fumble. It was clearly a fumble, and that's what Johnny Greer is about to tell us now.
Yeah, it didn't take long.
It's Texans ball with 1:39 to go in the third quarter. I tell you, I think the Texans, Steve, are coming of age in this game. I don't think you're going to see them blown out anymore.
The reason you can say that, even though they're
After
trailing.
reviewing the play, the runner lost the ball prior to hitting the ground. The ruling on the field stance is called. It was a fumble. Philadelphia's charged with a timeout.
One of the things that you can say about this, the reason they are trailing this game, but they're trailing a very good football team.
What maybe as good as there is in the league right now.
And they're standing here in the second half. They're standing toe-to-toe with the Eagles and playing with them, and they actually got off to a good start early in the game. So there's the points off turnover, and that's the difference in this game right now.
Dom Capers had an industry mark after the last game, Steve. He said the number one thing in this business, this football business, is you have to be a fighter. And we have a bunch of fighters on defense.
They sure do. And they're giving this young offense a chance to win the game.
Well, that's going to take some doing, but they can get closer. Big Ben does a good job protecting the ball and gets yards down to the 39-yard line. A gain of about 3. Tackled by linebacker Sean Barber, 56.
You know, you think about this, and it looks like it's a kind of a nondescript 3-yard play off the left side or right side of the offense, and it probably is. But you know what? This is a good football play. You get positive yards. You get down to 2nd and 6, maybe 2nd and 6.5. You know, with all the bad things that happen, get your running game. That's a positive play in your run game, and it all counts.
These young guys on the right side, Fred Wary and Herndon, they're moving people out when they block. As is the center, Steve McKinney. Another good player, Chester Pitts, a rookie at left tackle, and Domingo Graham, the left guard. Here's Carr as he wisely bails out. Loses yards, though. It's going to be 3rd and long.
Yeah, and that counts as a sack. That counts as a sack against the Texans. But David Carr obviously stopped the clock, gets out of bounds, gives himself a chance here on, it'll be 3rd and about 9 now, although he lost 2.
And that third down, that 2-point conversion throw of Donovan McNabb certainly looms large now. Has built the lead at this point to 9-point advantage. Texans will need 2 scores to go ahead. Big rush. Beautiful throw. Ball is caught down to the 31-yard line.
He got the first down.
Got a first down. Billy Miller.
Great play. Carr stood in the pocket. He had the blitz coming off his left side, and he threw it right past it. Right to Billy Miller. Watch as he drops back. You'll see the pressure come from the left. Unimpeded, and Carr gets rid of it early enough to find his receiver, and that's what a quarterback is supposed to do.
And that is the end of the third quarter, with the Eagles in the lead. Now a word from your local station. The Texans now have the most offensive yards that they've had in a game, 204, with a full quarter still to be played. They're down by 9. The Eagles defense digs in. The Eagles with that two-point conversion looming large, and also that trick play that resulted in a touchdown. And now Carr does the right thing and sprints out of the tackle box and throws the ball away. When you saw now they're going to rule intentional grounding. He wasn't outside the tackle box apparently.
He didn't take enough steps to get out there. You saw what the Eagles did. They came up and showed him a huge blitz, an overloaded blitz to his right.
Intentional grounding. Number 8.
Jim Johnson.
Offense.
The defensive coordinator for the Eagles. If in doubt, his philosophy is blitz.
Yeah, they came up and they showed a big blitz on his right side. He changed the play, and then they backed out of it. Once he changed the play to a quick pass, they backed out of it and then made his play no good, and he had to throw the football away. Next time he'll know, take a few extra steps before you throw it out of bounds.
Expensive penalty. Loss of 10 and loss of down. There's Chris Palmer looking on. Offensive coordinator. Carr stands in. Here comes the rush. This time he's legit throwing the ball away as Hugh Douglas, a 280-pound defensive end, ready to get him.
Yeah, and all it takes really right now for this Houston offense to get in trouble is one bad penalty. And you see here Hugh Douglas goes just right inside of Chester Pitts there. Chester Pitts is a rookie working against one of the really good defensive ends in the National Football League. He's learning his lessons as well. There you see the pressures that David Carr's been under.
Houston has converted, Steve, 3 of 11 third downs today. This is third and very long. Third and 20. Here come the blitzers. And the play is whistled dead.
Prior to the snap, delay
a game. They didn't get the snap off it.
And this is the frustrating thing for Dom Capers. Your defense gives you an opportunity, and Chris Palmer is trying to figure out what you can call on 3rd and 25.
Not much. Now, you don't want to expose your quarterback to a 7-step drop against blitz. They're not going to go 7th. They're going to go quick drop. Arm stands in. He's going for the distance. That's Corey Bradford out there. And the defense is right with him. Al Harris, a very good nickelback. It's the guy who made the play. Official right on top of it, ruling it clean all the way. So the Texans now have to punt back to the Eagles.
No question. Blaine Bishop on the coverage there. Bradford. Both of them looking up for the ball. As long as they both look for the ball and try to play it, just about anything goes. There's Bobby Taylor on the coverage.
Brian Mitchell, who along with Jerry Rice and Walter Payton has net combined yards of over 20,000. Only 3 players in NFL history. It's fair catching here. No one was expecting, though, that Brian Mitchell would have a touchdown pass today on a trick play. 36-yard punt, no return. Eagles have it when we come back. The Eagles have the ball, and they're holding now to that 28-17 lead. First down and 10. McNabb, quick throw, finds his tight end, Chad Lewis. Jamie Sharper, what a defensive producer he is. Last week, 13 tackles and forcing 2 fumbles and a sack against the Colts. Look at him today.
Got 11 tackles now. He just made that one. A forced fumble, a fumble recovery, a sack and a half. I mean, this is, you talk about a defense, and a guy on your defense is giving you a chance to win. These Houston Texans are doing it.
Ravens couldn't keep Sharper because of salary cap problems, and he's been a great acquisition of the Texans. And now the Eagles go hard to the run. Jamie Sharper makes a lot of tackles because he's so hard to block.
And watch what happens. This is what a linebacker does. Watch, stand right on the line of scrimmage, steps inside to his gap, spins out, and pursues the football, bang, and he's the first guy there. And that's playing defense, Don. I mean, you get hit, you get beat up, and then you get a chance to make a tackle.
That is excellent football. I mean, he was a guard, took him out and knocked him back, and he spun off and made the hit. But it's 3rd and inches for the Eagles. Eagles fell behind in this game 7-0 on the early touchdown pass by David Carr, and then they rallied for 20 straight points to take command. McNabb calls his own number, and he piles ahead behind his center, Hank Fraley, for first down.
You know, it's tough to stop a quarterback sneak, Don. You got to line all your guys up, your offensive line, you cut their splits down, you pack it all in there, and then you walk up there and you nonchalantly, you don't even call a snap, and you go first sound, and the first word McNabb utters, they jump, and the defense has to be ready for it. And that, you know, with a quarterback the size of McNabb, that's the best short yardage play in the league.
Well, he's bigger than he's been. It's all muscle. He's 6'3", 230 pounds, maybe 240. He's been building up in the weight room. McNabb throws and makes a connection to Dorsey Levens, and he's ahead for a good yardage down the near sideline. He's out to the 30-yard line. A first down play is good for 8. Hailey Wong was on the stop.
Well, this is frustrating if you're the Texans. McNabb looks back. He's looking down, feel like he's going to get you for the big one, and then he dinks it off. 8-yard gain. Now they're sitting at 2nd and 1. I mean, that's so frustrating. You have to guard against the big play every moment, and then he knocks you for 8 yards, and they get 2nd and short with a chance to go long again.
Knowing McNabb and the way that they like to play the game, he's going to go deep pretty soon. This time he goes to the run, and they pretty much shut it down. It's short of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and about a yard.
The guy just signs the big contract. He comes out today, and the first series gets picked off. And then from then on, he's been nothing but perfect.
Now, they haven't been easy yards today, Steve, against this Texans defense.
So he's going against a top 10 defense, and he still looks good doing it. I mean, he's made some plays. He's bought himself a lot of time. His running game's working pretty well, although they haven't been asked too much of it. And he's just, you know, you can tell now as he takes a timeout here. Their rushing yard's been almost cut in half today.
And they want a timeout with a long way to go. 11:28 left to play.
Is sponsored by Spiders, listed on the American Stock Exchange. Honda, the company that defines performance in motorcycles, ATVs, and scooters. And by Staples 365 Savings. Yeah, we've got that.
The boathouses along the Schuylkill, one of the great rowing centers in the world, Philadelphia. And on the field is the Eagles with the ball, 3rd down and a yard. McNabb again powers his way, not risking a handoff, gets behind his big center and gets the first down. The executive producers of the NFL on CBS are Sean McManus and Tony Petitti. The coordinating director is Larry Cavallina. Today's game was produced by Jim Rickoff and directed by Kathy Barretto. The senior producer of the NFL Today is Eric Mann. The NFL Today is directed by Bob Mateen, and the coordinating producer of CBS Sports is Harold Bryant. The associate director of today's game is Sean Gurchikoff. The broadcast associate, Mark Burkhart. The field technical manager is Dan Barron, and the technical director of today's game is Colby Bourgeois. The men and women of CBS Sports, and we thank them all as the Eagles now try to run the ball with Deuce Staley, and there's not much going on. Texans come hitting and make it 2nd down and 10.
Well, there's no give up in this Texan defense. They've been out there a long time. They've been fighting against a really good offense who's been clicking, throwing trick plays, doing all kinds of things. In fact, you know, they had one drive stopped, and the Eagles throw a fake punt in there, and they score anyway. And that's doubly maddening for a defense to come out and play a good series and then have them to give up a score without them even being on the field.
Here's McNabb with a quick drop and throw. Makes a connection for a first down. Beautifully done there Backup tight end Jeff Thomas, and you talked earlier, Steve, about how this 10-year veteran, mostly a blocker, but he can catch it well, and that time he's ahead for 14 yards.
Well, this is what a veteran does. He sees the blitz. The guy right over him tries to tackle McNabb, so he runs a little out route, and McNabb hits him. McNabb sees the same thing. That's the way offenses work. The receivers see something, the quarterback sees it, and they all think the same adjustments.
From the University of Oregon, Jeff Thomason. Eagles looking to run clock too with a 28-17 lead. McNabb. And Don McNabb took a hard shot. And I'll tell you, just as he released the ball, he went flying back like he hit hard by Gary Walker, 96.
Yeah, there's no give up. I mean, these Texans are going to fight these guys until the last second. Watch here. Walker gets through just the last minute. Lets him go. Not that big of a hit.
Donovan thought it was. It knocked him back 5 yards.
That's easy for me to say.
McNabb has thrown 40 times, hit 23 of those 40 for 221 yards. No touchdowns, 1 interception. There he is on the run. Looked at all his options. Nobody open, so he ran. So he wasn't going to go far, so he slid. Didn't take the hit.
There's something David Carr could learn from. He coughed the ball up once trying to scramble like that because he tried to go in hook head first, take what you can get, and hit the deck. McNabb, the important thing about this play, Eagles still have the ball, and it's 3rd and 9 instead of 1st and 10 going the other way.
Third down. Eagles need 8. McNabb looks at some blitzers, makes a throw, and it's broken up beautifully. James Thrash was the intended receiver, but number 42, Marcus Coleman, out of Texas Tech, makes the breakup.
Early in the game, there was a call because a defender got to the ball too early. Watch as Coleman comes in. He'll get there a little early, but watch as he gets all the football. He'll hit Thrash right in the back. You see there, go over the top of his head. Coleman hits the ball right out of the air. And that's a big physical cornerback making a great play in coverage.
And that incomplete pass then forces the Eagles to punt. Avion Black is back deep for the Texans. High punt off the foot of Landetta. And it carries. Did they get it? Steve, you were a specialist at that. Took you to 7 Pro Bowls, and you can't do it better than that.
That's good special teams play by the whole gang down there, tossing it to one another and keeping the ball out of the end zone. Gains about 18 yards for their offense.
Chad Lewis on the sideline, tight end, as the offense has come off. And now, welcome to the NFL, David Carr. 1st and 10 at the 1-yard line of the Texans. And this crowd is really on him. Only thing you can do, try to get out of jail with a little power run up the middle, and James Allen works his way for a few yards.
Well, the reason they're down here is because of great special teams play, Don. Sean Landetta punched this ball. It lands in the field of play. You see there, that's Al Harris tossing the ball to Ike Reese, who tosses it back out. It's a hot potato there. Everybody gets in on the act, finally down on the 2-yard line.
Beautifully done by the special teamers of the Eagles. 2nd down and 8, Texans. Houston's able to work for about 2 yards. Again, Gardner fills to middle linebacker and stops James Allen. Allen so far today running the ball 13 times for 34 yards. Now a tough time for David Carr and the Texans offense. They need 5 yards. A long 4. Ready to throw from deep in their own end. Blitzers align. Here they come. Carr takes a look. Ball is tipped. Incomplete. And out comes the punt team. A big effort by the Eagles defense, led by 56 Sean Barber.
And this was all set up by the special teams play, putting the Texans way back in their own end, forcing their offense to be conservative so something bad doesn't happen, and the defense just comes in and makes sure they can't get out of that end. And now they're going to come back with good field position for Donovan McNabb once again.
Mitchell makes the catch, and the tackler is right there.
Oh, they called him down.
Jason Simmons, number 30, was the guy that got down there as fast as the ball did for the Texans.
The punt was almost blocked. At the end, it almost went. Watch.
Andy Kalu is the guy who almost gets there. 94.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Gap and by Lamisil AT. There's no better way to cure athlete's foot.
Back to Veterans Stadium. There is the man his players call Big Red. They call this Big Red's machine. Andy Reid, his team holding to an 11-point lead. Right now, the Eagles with the ball, first down and 10, looking to go to their third straight victory. And they go to the run to Deuce Staley, and the Deuce is always saluted with the Deuce cry from the Eagle faithful here at Veterans Stadium.
There's a guy that came in, and we asked him, what were some of the things you did right when you got the job? He said, I went down and looked at all the games they had played for 2 years to get familiar with which guys I had here that I thought could play. And over the course of his time here in Philadelphia, he's kept those guys and also gotten guys he could count on, good guys, he says, not just necessarily good football players.
Well, you get around this team there as Deuce Staley breaking it again down the sideline. You got a good measure of a team when you're around them in practice a couple of days, and these guys really like being together and playing the game.
Yeah, it's a real good group of franchises, very together. The players, the coaches, the staff, everybody eats together in the same room at lunchtime. Everybody seems to be on the same team. This is an organization that is going to win, not just players on the field. And it's been one of the nicer developments, I think, of Andy Reid's tenure here in Philly.
Eagles working the clock as they work the ball down the field. First down and 10. Here's Staley. Loses yards. Nowhere to go as he goes wide. Mitchell, the outside backer, Keith Mitchell. Another Aggie from Texas A&M. Comes over to make the stop. Has 5 seasons, very good ones at New Orleans, did Keith Mitchell.
You can say what you want about stopping the run and running, but now's the time when the Texans have to stop the run. They cannot afford to let the Eagles run this clock out. The Texans believe there's no give up in them. They think with 5:15 to go, they've got a shot at winning this football game if they can get the ball back.
The timeouts. That's a problem. McNabb again throws on the run. And James French could go the distance. He does. And again, the big play offense of the Eagles strikes. McNabb in trouble, then McNabb with another magnificent decision and throw, and a 37-yard touchdown.
This is a great team touchdown. Donovan McNabb gets some play, gets good protection, then buys himself some time, just dumps it off to make something happen, and then guys makes a picket line for Thrash to get around the corner the other side, and that's a touchdown. Everybody got into the act on that one.
David Akers now out to try the point after. He drives it up and through, and so the Eagles come up with another big play, but still 4:52 left to play in the game.
That was Donovan McNabb just rolled out, tried to find somebody to give him some help. He threw the ball to James Thrash. He turned around and got a couple of nice blocks. You see there, everybody falls in line. And that's when you know your team is really playing well, Don. Everybody's antennae are out. When something happens, they're all ready to pitch in. And I mean, in a heartbeat, 4 Eagles got to the other end of that run and helped Thrash get to the end zone. Donovan McNabb, hey, that's a nice little touchdown pass. They don't care if it's a 69-yard bomb or a little flip pass. It all counts.
Yep, catch and run play. And McNabb really thrashed. It's tough to outrun a secondary in the NFL, but Thrash just did it. He just cut back and outran everybody.
Donovan McNabb starting to look like a $115 million bargain.
Signing bonus of over $20 million. But he's all about winning, all about leading. And he is the heart and soul of this team.
You know, the impressive thing about it, you sit down and talk with him, you really get the feeling that it is his intention to earn every cent of it. And that sounds, well, of course, but, you know, in this day and age when everybody says athletes are overpaid, they're treated differently than everybody else, this is a guy that just does not apply to.
Well, among the other things he can do, he can wear success very well. The best is yet to come. As now, the kickoff is to Avion Black. Behind his legs, Black takes an outside channel. A penalty marker is thrown. Play will come back. Blocking foul on the Texans.
It looks like David Carr is going to end up in the shadow of his own goalpost once again.
Johnny Greer with 4:45 still to play. Now that deep in their own end was got to be a better start than the last drive, which they started on their 1-yard line. There's your man, Ryan Mitchell.
It's his 13th year in the National Football League. You mentioned how many yards he's got.
Over 20,000 combined net yards. Only guys in the history of the league.
Doing the return, number 82.
Also done that are Peyton and Jerry Rice. Walter Payton. Tonight, don't miss the season premiere of 60 Minutes when Leslie Stahl gets the first look at documents the Israelis seized from Arafat's headquarters. Tonight at a special time, 7:30, 6:30 Central on CBS. Followed by the action thriller Mission Impossible 2 starring Tom Cruise. It's all here tonight on CBS. Out from the shotgun. On throw, good connection. First down to Jabbar Gaffney. 11-yard gain and a first down to the rookie from Florida.
And now Houston goes to the no huddle, which is one more aspect of their offense that they're going to get a chance to use here today in Philadelphia.
Stands in, loses it. They're waving it incomplete. Johnny Greer, the referee, right there ruling that his arm is coming forward.
No, this is the tuck rule. You know, this has been a tough second half for David Carr. I mean, and we asked him yesterday, what are some of the keys to the game for you? He said, told us, you know, one of the best keys for me, one of the things I want to make sure happen. So when we step into the huddle, in this case, no huddle, I want to make sure the guys on my team know I'm in control and I got it together. I'm not panicking. And that was an excellent call. That is a tuck rule. Anytime he starts to go forward, no matter when the ball comes out, even if he starts to pull it back and it pops loose on his own, that's still an incomplete forward pass. No question about it.
Now whistle stops play. Flag is thrown in the secondary and a delay a game call is signaled. So they were talking when we met with the Texans yesterday about their concern about clock management, about communication in a very loud atmosphere. This is a tremendous following the Eagles have, and they really get loud, particularly when the opposition's trying to snap the ball.
Well, you realize what they're up against. It's not only a new offense, it's a new offensive coordinator, new head coach, new players, new quarterback, new coaching staff, new teammates, new franchise. I mean, they're in the first month of their first season.
Handoff. Not much going on. There is a little bit going on for James Allen as he breaks it ahead to the 22. It was 6 years from the time the Oilers left for Tennessee, and the Texans came in as an expansion team. That we look now at some of the doubleheader games. 2 unbeatens going at it at Qualcomm in San Diego. The Patriots and the Chargers, or Tennessee at Oakland. Speaking of the former Oilers, now the Titans. I tell you, they got something to cheer for in Houston, though, with this team. They're just going to keep getting better. Carr gets out of the tackle box and throws the ball away.
We spoke a little bit about, wanting to communicate, getting it better, the pre-snap sequences of all the plays, making sure they can run this no-huddle offense, making sure they didn't have any false starts or delay of games. They did have a couple of delay of games, but the communication is the most important thing for a young team trying to get better. They've got to make sure that whatever that guy right there sees, everybody else sees the same thing and helps him make the right throw.
Chad Stanley now into punt for the Texans. Booms it. Here's Brian Mitchell. Long distance Mitchell. Wow, these special teamers are good. Here's a penalty marker thrown in. Coming down to make the play was Jay Foreman, and also down was the gunner coming down on the other side, Kenny Wright.
Holding number 82 of the receiving team during the return.
Holding signaled against the Eagles. Quarterbacks have been taking a lot of heat for their team's losses this year. This week, Phil Simms sets the record straight and says when a team loses, it's not always because of the quarterback. Read what else Phil had to say at NFL.com or America Online. Enter keyword NFL.com. You have to blame somebody. Why not the quarterback? He's making the most, right?
When his hands are on the football every offensive snap.
You can blame the center then.
Yeah, well,
blame the quarterback.
You can blame the center if you want. I'll pick the quarterback.
He's got his hands on it too. Our run. Eagles now looking to run out the clock and go to their third win of the year. And the argument is to be made right now, who's better than the Eagles? Not the Rams. They've had it. They've hit the wall. That is over.
Miami looks like they're going to take it on the chin.
Detroit
City
looks like they might have a win today against unbeaten New Orleans. Goodbye Rams. It's over. That window is slam shut. I'll tell you one to watch, Jacksonville. And the Eagles have to go down there next week. Looks like the Bills and the Bears might be heading to overtime. The Bills do that pretty regularly.
Yeah, that's the modus operandi for the season. I agree with you, Don. I haven't seen anybody play football better than the Philadelphia Eagles had in the last couple of weeks. They've had one bad half of football in the first 3 games. Well, actually, the first 4 games now, if you count this one. They had a bad second half against Tennessee on opening day and blew the lead and lost it. And ever since then, they have been dominating.
Well, that motivated them, and they've built on that. On a disappointment like that, here is the handoff, and they just go to the run to Brian Westbrook. Straight ahead, and that'll take us down to the 2-minute warning with the Eagles in command 35-17. And apparently they've called a timeout, the Texans have, before the 2-minute warning, so after the next play they'll get another timeout to stop the clock. Working hard to try to get all the
give themselves every chance. I mean, the coaches have to do that. That's their job, to make sure their team has every opportunity to win. Now, and the players expect it. And they look up there and they think they're going to understand why that was done, and they're going to appreciate it. The Eagles, you said a moment ago, they're going to go down to Jacksonville and play in Florida, and then they have a bye week.
And then there's the Eagles, what they have coming up.
All these teams have winning records. That's a pretty tough schedule stretch right there.
Well, they've been 11-5 the last 2 years, have the Eagles. They're going to win more than 11 this year. With 19 of 22 starters back from a team that won a division title last year. The Eagles won their first division title in 13 years, and they went to their first NFC title game in 21 years last season. They're better this year. Davion Black runs back the punt. It isn't pleasant out there. Coming down to make that was
Julian Jones making the head. That's a guy after my own heart. What a shot.
Donovan McNabb and the Eagles leading 35-17. Don Criqui with Steve Tasker. Super Bowl hopes rising in Philadelphia They came within a touchdown of getting to the big game last year. This is a very good team.
Very good team, and they're playing very well too. And that, to Houston's credit, they've played better today than they have at any point thus far in the season, in my opinion. They're coming together as a football team, and you can see the light at the end of the tunnel for this Houston franchise, but they ran into a buzzsaw today in Philadelphia and Donovan McNabb.
You want to see why a guy gets drafted #1. You take a look at that last throw, the way he throws lasers.
And this is still, well, it's kind of a, with under 2 minutes to go and you're down by double digits, and you see he takes a sack there. This is still a time when you're going to get something out of this football game.
Now we were talking about the 6 years between, as the flag is down, between when the Oilers left the offensive hole on the Texans. 6 years between when the Oilers left and the Texans came in. Paul Tagliabue, the commissioner of the National Football League, told me the best presentation anybody in the league office ever saw was the presentation
69 offense, still first down,
of Robert McNair, the owner and founder of the Houston Texans. They said you've never saw anything like it. I mean, they came in, they got the go-ahead, everything was set to go, and they've got a terrific organization.
Well, they had a brand new stadium that went up, much like the one that is going up here in Philadelphia, across the way from Veterans Stadium.
David Carr trying to make something happen down the stretch front of the game. He goes to a screen. Allen get back the lost yardage on a 1st and 20. Harkening back to the words of the coach, Dom Capers. #1 thing in this business, you have to be a fighter. And the Texans keep fighting. And Steve, it's a substantial loss, and 18-point loss, but can you build on that the way they played today? Yes, you can.
Oh, no question about it. They showed great improvement today in their offense. David Carr made some throws that were spectacular. Their running game came along. I still think their running game is as good a part of their offense as anything.
And now Carr bails out. Of course, they're going to get their tackles back. They hope after the bye week for the Buffalo game at Reliance Stadium. Tony Baselli and Ryan Young.
Yeah, it kind of hurts your offense when your two starter, your right tackle and your left tackle, are gone, and starting a rookie at left tackle in Chester Pitts against a really good defense here in Philadelphia. And they're up against it a little bit here in the first half of the season, but if they can weather this storm and stay together, this is a club that's going to reap some benefits of this year, not next year. They're going to reap some benefits this year.
Long way to go. This is just the quarter pole of the season. Quarter of the way there. And now a hard sack as David Carr looks downfield, and Dawkins, they send the free safety, and there isn't a better free safety anywhere than this guy. 5 sacks of Carr today. He's been sacked this season 24 times in 4 games.
That brings up 4th down. Of course, David Carr is going to stay on the field. They're going to try and get this first down, 4th and about 15, maybe 16.
See the game clock winding down to under 20 seconds. Ball on the field. So is David Carr. The Eagles treat him well. Just kind of set him down.
The clock will stop, and the Eagles will come out and run one play to end this football game.
Eagles, I don't know how you beat them with the way they can score. They have now scored in 4 games this season 140 points.
That's a lot of touchdowns, Don. They do it with trick plays, fake punts, reverses, runs after catch. Not only trick plays, but also solid football plays. The play selection that the Eagles come out with is just outstanding. Unpredictable, innovative. They use all different people on offense. They use different personnel, different formations. They are a handful.
McNabb and the Eagles will take a knee, down the ball. The clock winds out. And the Eagles, with their 3rd straight win, go to 3-1. And Dom Capers, who is a team of guys who give it all they got for 4 quarters when they lessen the mistakes, they're going to be formidable, maybe even this year. Now for Steve Tasker, this is Don Crickey saying so long from Veterans Stadium, where the Eagles have defeated the Texans 35-17. Coming up next, it's game 2 of our doubleheader as the Chargers host the Super Bowl champion Patriots, or the Titans visit the Raiders. CBS coverage of the National Football League will continue after this message and a word from your local station. Thanks for being with us.